मेल हाँ हो गया मेल को ज्वाइन कर मशरूम बोलो ये वाला मेल या एक ज्वाइन किया ठीक चली गई क्या ये ऑटोमेटिक नहीं चल रहा है तो आपके पास कंट्रोलर होगा रिमोट वाला क्लिक कर सकते हो अदरवाइज मैं क्लिक कर दूंगा ठीक है एक वीडियो प्ले करने के लिए बोला आपके पास आया कल हमने आपको वीडियो सेंड की है
हेलो
आज पे जो है अच्छा तीन वीडियो था वो वाला अच्छा कल वो प्ले करने वाला था ना हाँ खत्म हो गया था कल नहीं किया था अच्छा ठीक है मैम
हेलो
अभी प्ले करो ठीक है अभी तो मैं कुछ कॉपी कर रहा हूँ मैम क्या था आपका माय सिस्टम
माइक
ठीक है WAC नादा क्लाइमेट चेंज ओके
हाँ a very good morning to everyone. So the presentations will start in 2 minutes. Everyone is requested to be seated, and please all the presenters are requested to provide their PPTs to the technical committee. Dr. Masum Raza.
दोनों कॉपी करना है सर कोई को पानी फोटो को हाय नहीं मिल रहा सर आ जाइए आइए आइए ये फोल्डर तो नहीं है बाहर सर कंट्रीब्यूशन तो हने दी सर डब्ल्यूएस ठीक है
therapeutic potential of honey in major depressive disorder and neurological conditions, where I am conducting a PRISMA guided systematic review of human and animal evidence. The Conclave thematic track on nutrition, health sciences, technology, and entrepreneurship explicitly
Close the
focuses
video.
on nutritional security, public health interventions,
Close the
and
video.
advances in biomedical research,
Close the video.
offering an ideal platform to situate my work at the intersection of honey, brain health, and mental health policy. The conference also brings together researchers, apiculture experts, conservation scientists, entrepreneurships, and policymakers to discuss sustainable and evidence based honey ecosystem, including climate resilience, policy and regulation, and market dynamics. As a pharmaceutical scientist and policy researcher, I see this as a unique opportunity to
the technical session third on the second day of World Honey Conclave. So this session will focus on sustainability and climate action. I am Dr. Irshad Ahmed and I will be moderating this session. We are very fortunate today by our esteemed to be guided by our esteemed chairperson, Professor Saket Kushwaha, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh. Thank you, sir, for your leadership and support. I would like to welcome you, sir, to the dais and take the chairs. Thank you, sir. So, Professor Saket Kushwaha is a distinguished academician and an agriculture economist currently serving as Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh. He has widely been recognized for his extensive contribution in rural livelihood development and agribusiness. His career spans prominent universities across India. Several key roles majorly highlight his administrative background. He has served as Vice Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi Central University, Arunachal Pradesh, and also previously as Vice Chancellor, Ellen Mithila University, Bihar. Sir holds a PhD degree in agriculture economics from Banaras Hindu University, where he also served as a professor. And sir previously also worked as Dean of School of Management, Federal University of Technology, Bauchi, Nigeria, and where he directed multiple international research and extension projects. His work emphasizes sustainable farming, climate resilience, economic equity, alongside a deep dedication of expanding agricultural education and agribusiness management across South Asia and Africa. Thank you so much, sir, for chairing the session. With the permission of the chair, we will begin with the first session of the second day of World Honey Conclave. So this technical session, the theme of the session is sustainability and climate action, which focuses on how beekeeping basically adapts to environmental shift. It bridges indigenous knowledge with modern ecological practices, exploring how climate change and habitat loss directly impact bee health, pollination, and global food security. This session brings together experts who are making an impact in the field of sustainability. We will begin with two keynote addresses, followed by a couple of oral presentations. To begin with the session, I would like to welcome our keynote speakers, Dr. Giridhar Parivartan, sir, and Dr. Dharampal Abrol, sir, to take their chair. Thank you so much, sir. Our first keynote speaker for this session is Dr. Giridhar Parvattam from CSIR CFTRI Bangalore. His topic for today is CFTIR's role in honey analysis, pollination challenges in changing environment from honeybee perspective for a food industry. Giridhar sir is presently director of the prestigious CSIR Central Food Technology Research Institute, Mysore, Bangalore. Sir also is a very prominent scientist with specialization and his PhD in botany, particularly microbiology. He, in addition to that, his research roles also work as professor in Academy of Scientific and Innovation Research. Dr. Parvattam is a fellow of multiple prestigious institutes, including Royal Society of Biology UK, National Academy of Biological Sciences, and also Indian Botanical Society. He is elected member of National Academy of Sciences, Allahabad, and Plant Tissue Culture Association of India. Thank you so much, sir. Start with your presentations.
Yeah, good morning to all of you. Respected Chairperson and Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Saket Kushwaji, Dr. Professor Dharampalji, all the delegates, guests, students, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning to you all. The topic what I have selected is just is introduced, that is CFTR's role in honey analysis. And the second component is quite different, that is like a pollination challenges to fit into the theme of the this world honey conclave. Before going to the topic, I would like to just brief just two slides for 2 minutes about the CFTRA. No, it's not moving. Yeah, this is the our administration building, main building, that is the Cherivomba Mansion. Some of you might have visited our institute earlier, but otherwise, this is the royal palace donated to CSAR by the Wadayar dynasty in 1950. Then onwards, it is our main administration building, but of course, laboratories are annexed things. So our main focus will be bridging the gap between R&D and industry to deliver the products to the society, and a non-profitable aspect with minimal what is called license fee. Just if this is a decade-wise glimpse, because we just completed last year 75 years, that is a platinum jubilee year. So a lot much progress right from the nascent stage to the updated corporate requirements. Lot many contributions CFTR has made. Initially in 1950, it all begins with the scratch. That is a major contribution during the 1950 decade is Amul and synthetic rice and parboiling of rice. Amul milk powder you might be knowing nowadays. It is a brand, but earlier at the time, the Nestle milk powder, that is based on the cow milk, is the only available milk powder for the babies in India. So people used to export a lot much adulteration, fraudulent markets were also there. So, but in India, the major milk production is on cow, buffalo milk. So the buffalo milk contains up to 7.8% fat compared to the 3.5% of the cow milk. The challenge is to make the milk powder from the buffalo milk. So at the time, the scientist made a technology by defatting, completely removing the fat from the buffalo milk, and by using spray dry techniques and other methods, they developed the buffalo milk based powder. That is the greatest. That is nothing but the Amul. So then onwards, this is the now what our technologies are available. Similarly, the synthetic rice, there was a famine and a lot going. Still, green revolution is yet to start in India. So the cassava-based cassava tubers, so that cassava-based powder was used to make the synthetic rice. Now, whatever fortification for FRK, fortified rice kernels, you are doing by extrusion technology, the foundation actually happened in 1950s. Similarly, the parboiling of the rice. Rice cannot withstand as such. If you keep it, rancidity will be there and lot many issues will be there. If you do the parboiling, what happens is the whatever in the husk, whatever vitamin B will be there, it will impact on the grain, and it will last long. Throughout the world, whichever be the country using the parboiling of rice as on today is still the same technology what CFTR has developed. So these are the major things. In subsequent decade, that is the era of innovation. Fumigation technologies for the preservation of the grains in the silos. CFTR has developed a number of, especially Durados and technology. Similarly, the oleoresins, spice oleoresins, whatever spice oleoresins are available in India, like chilies based things, even till today, the technology, not even minor deviation is there. Same technology the oleoresin companies are using. Ready to cook Foods foundation happened during that decade. Subsequently, taking the food to the technology to the grassroots levels, especially in the cereals and pulses sector. Destoner, dehuller, Milton development, that is a groundnut based protein extracted and made it into a milk. That is called the Milton technology. Nutri-dense foods and the leaf cup machines. You see, now everywhere we are using the bio-based things, the leaf cup machines. The first food-pressed handmade leaf cup machine was developed in 1970s. Later on, government of India in 90s, they released the postal stamp as a commemorative thing. Next, the journey is in 80s. It is a decade of confidence and growth to the industry because already food technology, really being a premier, it's sustained on its own. The referral food laboratory, as by law, parliament wise, four nodal laboratories were there. One is the referral food laboratory, that is CSAR, CFTR. The another one in Calcutta and Mumbai and Chennai, it is there, Ghaziabad. So that is the food for Antarctica mission developed and served by CFTR at the time, and a foundation for a disaster time foods. Later on, whenever cyclones and tsunami and such things happen, a number of instant made foods CFTR develops and transports within 24 hours. That is foundation actually happened in 1980s. Next in 90s, the ready to eat foods that are because the retarded technology, packing technology has been developed by CFTR that helped to the ready to eat foods. Automation in food processing industry and ready to eat mixes, whatever may be spice mix, MTR, Ashirvad, whatever technologies are there, they are all from CFTR. And the scaling science for the industrial meat, but that virgin coconut oil, 100 licenses were given to the virgin coconut oil in India, all with the collaboration with the Coconut Development Board, and also impact technology. So if you want to do the shelf life studies, 1 month, 2 months, it will be there. But if you want to do the 9 months shelf life, you cannot wait the product to test for shelf life for 9 months. The industry cannot wait it. So accelerated shelf life studies you have to create. For that, a software has been developed by Impact. That is again a big click. Similarly, in 2010's launchpad for the innovation, that is an aspect, and Nutri-Lock technologies. That means a minimal losing of nutrients while making processing. So that is, are retaining the nutrients within the food product. That is the technology. And carbonated beverages, flavored water, spice-based flavored waters technology has been developed, and special spirulina chicky that again in the COVID time, you might have heard about this one in entire India. Even AIMS were supplied the COVID-based immunity booster. And 2020 is now the new challenges and new frontiers. So technological developments are immense. So fortified foods, nutraceutical, functional fruits, and mobile processing units. So through Nectar Northeast Shillong, we delivered the mobile processing the last month only. So in the basic machinery required for the local farmers was installed there. The van will move from one village to another one, and minimal processing they will do it. So these are, and the Center for Excellence for the Millets with RKVY support, it is a 12 crore project. So 250 to 750 tons of millets you can process, all 9 millets. So the farmer can come with raw material and go with the products. Such a technologies we have developed here. Now coming to the honey. So I'm being a director, I am just I want to show the major contributions in the area of honey to all of you. Along with the other products, honey-based products also CFTR developed, but nevertheless the analysis component is the major thrust area of our referral food laboratory for the honey. So whatever work my colleagues carried out, that I would like to present. As somebody mentioned, the fructose is the major component, 30 to 44%. It varies with the honey to honey, and the primary source of sweetness is glucose, 20 to 40%, and this is the main source of crystallization. Yesterday, Honorable Chancellor was also mentioning, if the threshold limit crosses around 30, then crystallization happens fast under faulty storage conditions. Sucrose is very less, and another minor compound, maltose complex, carbohydrate, little protein and little minerals will be there. A major thing is the bioactive compounds. These are very important for the functional attributes. Yesterday, Dr. Anamika has touched on all these things. And the production estimates, again, there is a lot much fluctuation will be there. It based on the global scenarios. Nevertheless, the China and India and all these countries dominate this one, but Indian position always fluctuate between 4 and 3 or 2 or like that. If, again, here you can see the here, for example, Russia's honey production is facing a challenge due to 20 to 25% decline in the current market. Because of the lack of bee populations, they are not able to survive to the harsh winters, putting pressure on the country's honey output. So this is a global expected thing that they reported released by the CRISIL monthly dashboard in October 2025. Similarly, because of the war scenario in Ukraine and also changing environmental, it became harsh to the survival of the honeybees. Similarly, the Turkey is one of the important things. Again, it is expected to dip by this one. Again, climate-based scenarios, El Nino effects, they are also facing, and bee population is decreasing. This, of course, you all know very well. This the 4 important steps whenever the honey formation happens is initially the foraging. Honeybees collect from the nearest flowers, and then inversion of sugars, sucrose into glucose and fructose happens in honeybee stomach. That actually gives the more sweetness. Next, dehydration. The bees make like a fanning of around by moving rapidly around the hive, so that minimizes the moisture content, and finally they seal that honey for the future purposes. And the crystallization is another India. Of course, this is a natural process. Again, it happens with the pure and raw honey, and majorly to prevent the spoilage. And the second thing is glucose separation from water to form crystals accelerated by cool temperatures. So that's why the preservation of honey immediately after harvesting is very, very critical step here. And you can reverse it as long as your package is tamper proofed. You can just put it in warm water, again you can reverse it. And the shelf life, indefinite shelf life, it will be there if you really make it in 100% hygienic conditions and preserve in ambient temperature in wooden boxes. And again, these are yesterday also some other speakers have mentioned. Mainly the raw honey, the one what most important from traditional aspects. And now everybody is looking for the monofloral honey. This is because of the managing of the bees that leads to the monofloral honey. And the polyfloral honey, again, it is having its own advantage and reason. But a number of properties like antimicrobial, wound healing, and other things what Dr. Anamika has mentioned yesterday and other speakers, you see, these are all literature-based Ayurvedic things. Okay, in those days, we don't have monofloral honey or specific multifloral. It's like a wild type. So and also there is no processing of honey. People have no idea. So it is completely raw form. That medicinal properties actually are very, very important. Otherwise, just by going this literature and if you use the highly processed honey, you will not get the benefit, because honey GI is a medium GI product. 50 to 58 is the glycemic index. If really is diabetic patient, as somebody, professor asked yesterday, it is again problem. So in formulations, if you even till today, we are working with Ayush department. 2 projects are there. Ayush Ahagar, we are establishing scientific evidence. There, this discussion has come. They are also using 100% raw honey only. The honey is only as a medium for your herbal formulation, because it immediately gets absorbed to the system because of the pH and other things. And yesterday, some serotonin and dopamine and other things they mentioned. Whatever your stomach-based serotonin, immediately it gets carried to the brain. In between, fructose stimulates your relief to the brain. So these are all, that is why in depression type people use. So a number of things, these are all attributed to raw honey. Okay. So FSSAI regulations, these are all the things: specific gravity, moisture, and other things. These are the standard parameters. Especially you can see the left side bottom one, SMR, that is specific marker for rice syrup. This is very, very important. What happens is for adulteration purpose or economics purpose, they use the rice starch and they ferment and make the syrup. During the fermentation of the rice starch, what happens, one compound that is 2-acetylfuran 3-glycopyranidazide, AFGP, is produced. by using a particular test that AFGP, if you test it, if it is present, it is adulterated like that. Similarly, the other things like foreign oligo C4 sugars are present, and carbon stable isotopes are very, very important. That part I will touch in the later part. And these are all the various contributions from CFT. Advanced spectroscopic techniques we use, and detecting the adulterants like barley, malt syrup, and other things. And honey-based products we developed, and establishing protocols for high quality and scientifically verified commercial honey also we did there. Furthermore, investigating advanced sensory technologies like e-tongue, e-nose, we purchased some 5-6 years back. Whatever libraries are available that we are using and optimizing for various types of flavored compounds, including the honey also, the library supports to some extent. But it is whatever company gives that only. Because now a number of honeys are there, that you have to optimize the technology. And the NMR based technology, as somebody was telling that, yes, there are a lot many advancements. Earlier 400 ms that NMR was there. Now 500 ms and 600 is also there. The latest model that is Booker's honey profiling software is there. 28,000 compound things, signature molecules it is having. Whatever honey is available throughout the world, it is quite expensive. But even we don't have this one. But if you really get this one, you can use all these.
You have used most of the time introducing about your institution.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
So now we will give you 2 minute extra.
I think
25
minutes. No.
You said 25 minutes? Ishaq? Okay. So we are going to still give you that
Okay.
time, but everyone must manage
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the, instead of you see, both the NMR and IRMS, these are commonly used for doing the analyzing the sugars. But from industry perspective, the IRMS technology considered as the gold standard, because NMR generally for the basic screening and qualitative purpose you can use it, but here quantification also you can use this one. Both the C4 adulteration and the C3 compound syrups adulteration you can detect easily by using the this one. So between paucity of times, I don't want to go for this one, because the stable carbon isotopes you can easily identify by using this IRMS technology. Standard AOSE methods are there, and it depends upon the plants, from which type of plants the honey collects. If that depends upon this one. Generally, C3 and C4 sugars are there. C3, the normal photosynthesis happens in the flowering plant, and C4 plants like maize, sorghum, and sugarcane, the isotope signature, delta carbon 13 signature range is between -12 to -19. If it is a C3 plants, it is -21 to -32. So when you test by using the IRMS, if the range is between this, you can easily say the adulteration happens because of C3 plant-based syrups, or if it is a C4 plant-based syrups. So these are all the things. EA, that means elemental analyzer, IRMS technique is commonly used to identify the C4 sugar, that means sugar and corn sugar-based syrups. And for C3 sugars and wheat and sucrose from sugar beet and other things methods are there. LCMS-based methods will be there. And this is the formula they use for this one. But again, as I mentioned, it's a specific EAIRMS or LCMS is specific for C4 and C3. Yeah, this is just one example I would like to give. In the first column, you can see all the different honey, low sugar and high sugar. So what to do, how you can do this one is, first you have to take the bulk sugar available in your honey. That value will be this one. Then the protein, they will extract it. That protein, then value will be this one. This minus this value will come. And the percentage of adulteration, then they will calculate 29 to 73%. If it is a very high sugar syrup is added, so like this you can identify. For jaggery, if your adulteration is there, the same technique you can use, and based on the values, wherever red color is there, it is a non-conformity things. And the C3 sugar adulteration also you can check by LC-IRMS. This is an acacia thing. Again, based on even oligosaccharide is like a very, very rare compounds present in the honey. Also, you can identify by using this technology. And this is again rice syrup. If you are, this is the commercial samples. Even percentage wise, you can see 5%, 10%, 20%. How much adulteration is also there? You can make it. And another technique is with the CSIR series Jaipur. CFTR has developed a technology that is a near infrared spectroscopy. So here also percentage, whether it is jaggery or sugar or whatever corn syrup, 5 to 40% you can easily detect by using the technology. And here again, how the functional groups stretching will happen in this one. Based on that one, the software will be with the number of images captured. Basically, one hardware and the software supported by the display units will be there. This is a simple unit developed by the Siri for the identification of these identified. Just measurement time will be 1 minute and sample volume also is 1 ml only. It's like a screening method. And 5 HMF, yesterday somebody mentioned, yes, this is very important. You see, sugar syrups and other things add to the honey means nothing will happen to your health. Basically, it's the only economics wise loss. But 5 HMF content should be European standards with less than 40 milligrams. But in Indian cases, up to 80 milligrams was permitted by FSSAI. If it is more, it is become health disaster things. So geographical conditions will vary that one. Again, according to the lot of literature wise, in northern part of India, it will be within 18 to 25. But in the southern part of India, because of the climate variation and high temperatures and processing conditions, it crosses more than that one. Yes, this is the temple. I mean, one important table I would like to just to show. For example, here you can see sucrose percentage failed because less than 5% should be there. Whatever red mark is there. So obviously, the stable isotope molecules also will vary. So you can cross check it and 100% you can fail the sample. But here sucrose is within the limit, but total reducing sugars are 55 because they have added the syrups here. That's why you can easily catch this one. So it is like a double check or a triple check to see the escaping happens in the general points. So another important thing is now bioactive compounds. One type of honey will be having one type of bioactive molecules. Generally in Indian honeys, they are rich in the gallic acid, hydroxycinnamate, quercetin, and catechin, and protocategory caffeic acid, camphor, these are abundant in unifloral Kashmir honeys. So these things acts like a, to some extent, screening as a biomarkers. Similarly, foreign honeys like polish and other things, they are also chrysin and apigenin is very high. In Chinese thing, parahydroxybenzoic acid, myrcene will be there. So these differences are very important to screen this one. Like this, some 45 different honey samples we have identified, and the major outcome of this one is the paracoumaric acid, ferulic acid found in majority of honey tested can be considered a floral marker in Indian honey. But caffeic acid and myrcene were not observed in 45 samples what we have identified this one. If it is really there, then you can see, you can really use as a biomarker from the source is important, whether it is a foreign source or any other very endangered one. So these are all the industries, of course, yesterday we have discussed it and all the things. So honey, according to the recent database wise, the honeybees are very crucial for the almonds. 100% depend managed honeybees only, and even the horticultural processes 3 to 5% loss is reported, including the oil seeds and other things. And according to the latest report in the Nature Communication, the analysis of 2,400 pollen samples indicate that combined heat and drought stress severely limits the foraging threat to the honeybee and colony surveys. This is the latest thing. And 60% colony mortality especially happened in the European countries. And so these are some of the key challenges in changing environment like climate change, habitat loss, monoculture farming, and pesticide usage. This is what some of the speakers yesterday have pointed out. I don't want to tell. So the challenges from the nutritional deficiency, it is not a nutrition for us. First, we need to think about the nutrition of the honeybee for its survival. That wise, green deserts, these are all threats to the honeybees, because massive single crop of field, if you use, honeybee will not get sufficient nutrition for it. Similarly, habitat loss, wildflowers and nesting sites are disappearing in the environment. Again, that is a disaster. Immune suppression is happening to them because of the loss of these things. And the phenological mismatch, Climate change desynchronizes the crop bloom and other happens. Similarly, weather volatility. These are all the contributions for the nutritional deficiencies. So the industrial management pressures like travel stress, as you mentioned, it is boxes will be moved from one location to other things. Sometimes the continental things are also happening. So this travel stress is huge on these honeybees. Similarly, the parasite hubs overcrowded ads and accelerate specific might, and it will penetrate and dominate that one, it will kill. Similarly, the scent masking is happening because of air pollution. So all these things are responsible for the swindling yields and also skyrocketing the cost of these hive rentals and the supply instability. These are all the impacts happening this one. So the strategy is simple: protecting the pollinator. That means honeybee we have to protect by whatever may be ways. Similarly, the policies supporting pollinator health and funding research. This already government of India is showing a lot of emphasis, and many universities and agricultural universities are following this one. Integrated pest management technology. This is a quite old practice in agricultural sector that is very, very helpful to that one. And habitat restoration and climate adaptation for the resilient bee strains. You have to identify the bee strains that is very important to get to maximum yields. Under CSIR aroma mission, this lavender cultivation picked up in both AAM and IHBT, and now monofloral, this lavender-based honey has been developed. This is a successful story. So the last one is the diversity is very, very important for growth and development of bees, and low amounts of pollen availability to honeybee colonies can dramatically affect their brood rearing. Nectar and pollen provide essential nutrients. Those are the protein, whatever is there, it's 40% protein, you said that one. Of course, for our purpose, it is a different thing, but from honeybee perspective also, diversity of pollen actually makes them more healthy. And well-nourished bees can better withstand other stress and parasites, insecticides, and stress for a long-distance transport. This is the latest report published sometime back in 2000, and very recent report. This is very important. Managed honeybees aggravate pollination challenge, and the pollen limited species in alpine range, especially in high snow areas and alpine high altitude zones. These managed honeys are creating, is not good. That is what the report they says, because the yields are coming down and wild bees are vanishing. So these are all the ongoing activities and the future activities what CFTRA. We want to create the database for the many of these honeybees that fail in the international market, especially export-oriented ways through NMR and library, and NMR spectra for all the things database we want to make it, and the further phenolic profile, how best we can use as the biological indicators, and all this data can be used for the Indian honey database. So we will continue this aspect. And lastly, if the bee disappeared off the surface of the globe, then man would only have 4 years of life left. This was in 1901, before Einstein said. So this is more apt for this theory. So honeybee is not like a social animal, as somebody said, it is for our life also. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of our World Honeybee Conclave organizers for inviting me and giving this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for the enlightening talk. The session is open for questions. We have time for just one question. So anybody wants? Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. That microphone, no? Yes, no? You have it? Yeah.
When it comes to business data for India, so we told that they have collected 28,000. So how sure are we that they have taken enough samples from India? And if they have not taken enough samples, do we have to say that NMR is the only way to test purity of honey? Or do we have to wait until and unless honey library from India really happens? Because I have contributed some 8 samples to CSIR where they are making. Okay. So where they are making how long will it take to complete honey library for Indian honey or Indian NMR? So till then, do we have to convey these marketeers, and even yesterday also there was a discussion that NMR is the ultimate test. So how do we convey this?
See, the earlier initial versions of the NMRs, older versions, this much big library was not there. Hardly 5,000, 6,000 compounds, then 10,000 they upgraded. Now for the honey, only 28,000 things means, as per their database, whatever they mentioned, whatever honey is available at the time of developing the software, they have collected and they have made the library. Okay, that we need to believe the being that one. But unless we test that one, we cannot say. But again, one thing, NMR is very, very important for this one, for rapid screening and minimal sample use with non-written. But as I mentioned, IRMS is the industry gold standard to exactly look at the quantification and do it. That's what I'm telling. That's why FSSAI has asked FSSAI only funded that IRMS to us to look into this one.
So nowadays in European Beekeeping Association, this DNA-based test is making some, news over there, and it is assumed to be very inexpensive when compared to all these tests. These tests are very expensive, sir. Even I did that. It costs around 35,000 to 45,000 rupees
right.
per sample. So small beekeepers cannot do it. Only when we have a lot of 10 tons of honey, that will make some, feasibility. So to make these tests less expensive for a small beekeeper also, will DNA-based testing can be standardized in India?
We can standardize, but you cannot relate.
Yes.
See, there it is having its own cons.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We will continue the discussions during the networking session. So
Sir, I have a question.
the second speaker is,
Sir, one.
okay, one more question.
Is it working? This is working, I think.
Yes, it's working.
So there was a wonderful presentation, sir. Thanks to you for elaborating in such a nice manner. I just want to have one question. Do your institute provide any training to other institute scientific staff on nutrient analysis? If it is, then what is the procedure so that we can proceed? Because Ladakhi, sir, scientists, this is a new field, so in the future we may need this.
You see, in our entire institute activities, almost 40% is training, skill development, and capacity building. So, suppose a group of people will come, customized training program also we will do, like honey, what you said, we will do it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We will, in future, hopefully continue to work with the University of Ladakh and all the affiliated colleges with CSR, FTRI. So the second speaker is Dr. Dharampal Everall. His topic for today is impacts of climate change on bee population, pollination services, and honey production, consequences for biodiversity conservation, food security, and livelihoods. Dr. Dharampal is an eminent Indian agriculture scientist, renowned entomologist, and an expert on apiculture and pollination biology. He serves as a leading global voice on bee conservation, honey research, and sustainable agriculture system. Dr. Paul holds a PhD degree in entomology from Haryana Agriculture University. He has also served as Dean of Faculty of Agriculture of Sher Kashmir University, SCOST Jammu, and he has also headed the Division of Entomology and also worked as Controller of Examination and Director of Education, SCOST Jammu. He has a vast global experience, also has served as visiting professor across prominent international institutions, ETH Zurich in Switzerland, Jelgin University in Poland, and institutes across South Korea, Malaysia, Thailand, and Saudi Arabia. Dr. Everall's scientific contribution primarily targets conservation, management of honeybees and bumblebees. And he is also an elected fellow of various prestigious organizations, particularly National Academy of Agriculture Sciences, in 2018 for his profound impact on agriculture entomology.
Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Saket Kushwaha ji and the delegates, I am very much happy that this university has organized this honey conclave. This is a beginning of research and innovations in this area. As you say, as you know, this Ladakh is a totally virgin area where very little work has been done. So far as pollinators are concerned, 23 species of bumblebees, which are unique to this area, have been reported. And the bumblebees, if this management techniques are possible, they can be commercialized throughout the world, not only in India. And then there are other number of pollinators available in this area. So organization of this conclave also provide opportunity for creation of livelihood for the farmers, management techniques of bees, diversification of bee floral sources, and their migration schedule. I think this is a very good beginning for beekeeping and for development of pollinators. Now coming to my topic, I would be talking about impact of climate change on pollinators, consequences for biodiversity conservation, food scarcity, and livelihood. As per this ICC report, this climate change is no more an environmental concern. It has emerged as the biggest development challenge for the planet. It has affected the food system, farmer cropping system, crop and livestock. Agriculture sector being closely tied to इसको देखना tied to natural resource. BS is more vulnerable to climate change. Now, pollination is often taken for granted and is commonly thought as a free service. 87 of the world leading food crops depend upon animal pollination, representing 35% of the global food. Insect pollination ecosystem services essential for global food production. As per the economic estimates, more than $235 billion to $577 billion annually is benefit from the insect pollination. Now there is a great diversity of pollinator, apis and non-apis, but honeybees are the major pollinators of various crops. The honeybee pollination not only results in higher yields, but it also gives a better quality of produce, and the efficient pollination of flowers can serve to protect the crop against pests. The loss of biodiversity among pollinators has raised questions about whether the pollination services they provide are at risk. Pollination and food production that pollinator provide are threatened by agriculture intensification, climate change, and pesticide use. Now, plant pollinator interactions are not only essential for reproduction of many native plant species, they are also fundamental to the resilience of many ecosystems in which plant communities are connected by their pollinators. Additionally, pollinator importance cannot be overstated for many agricultural plants whose crop yields relies entirely on adequate pollination services. Hence, understanding the mutualistic interaction between plants and their pollinators is important for ecological and evolutionary biology as well as for agriculture applications. Now, there is a throughout the world decline of insects. As you see, more than 68% of the caddis flies have declined on the earth. Butterflies, more than 53% butterflies, 49% of the beetles, and bees, more than 46% of the bees have already declined in the world. Then dragonflies, mayflies, stoneflies, and other flies, there is a total decline of insect populations throughout the world. The reasons may be climate change, habitat degradation, intensification of agriculture, and then use of pesticide. There are so many reasons which are leading to the decline of global insect population. Now, as we know, more than many crops are absolutely dependent upon bees for pollination. For instance, almonds, avocado, blueberry, broccoli, carrot, and cauliflower and celery, they are 100% dependent upon bee pollination. Apples, then asparagus, cherries, and other crops such as cucumber, pumpkins, 90% of their production is dependent upon bee pollination. Similarly, other crops range from 10 to 70%. In some crops, 70% dependent, in 30%, 20%. So most of the crops are dependent upon bees for pollination and for production. If the pollinator decline, automatically the productivity will decline, resulting in this food scarcity. Now, estimated value of honeybee, bumblebees to US crop production. In case of alfalfa, 100% dependent upon this bees, apples, and this almonds. In citrus, 20 to 80%. In onion, 100%. Sunflower, 100%. And other fruits, 10 to 90%. Though of all these crops, proportion of pollination by honeybee is much more. They are more than 60% to 90% responsible for pollination of the crop. Bumblebees, they are 20%, 4%, 5 to 15% responsible for pollination of crops. Now, there has been massive decline of pollinators throughout the world. In Germany, more than 57% of the honeybees have declined. In UK, 61%. In USA, 50%. In Poland, 35%. India, more than 40%. Brazil, 53%. Netherlands, 58 to 65, and China, 50%. Now, similarly, honeybees in USA alone, there is, as per estimates, more than 50% of the honeybees, 36% of the bumblebees, 30% of sultry bees, 14% of bats, and 16% of hummingbirds and monarch butterflies have declined. So there is a throughout the world decline of pollinators. In United States, if we take the case where the honeybees pollinated more than 90% of the commercial crops, they have declined by 30% in the last 20 years. This has posed a great challenge to agriculture production. The number of colonies plummeted from 5.9 million in late 40s to 4.3 million in 1985 and 2.7 million in 1995. The loss of one quarter of all managed honeybee colonies since 1990 signals one of the most severe declines in US agriculture, which has never experienced in such a short way. There are few hives in the US today than at the time last 50 years. Now, as the climate changes, the habitat suitable for pollinators may change, with some areas being lost and others being newly created. When a habitat disappears or the pollinator is unable to move a new habitat, then local extinctions occur. Disrupt the synchrony between the flowering plants and the activity season. Sometimes what happens, flowering is earlier when the pollinators are not active. So this mismatch between the two results in decline of the both. Neither there is a productivity of the crop, neither the pollinators can survive. Because when they become active, crop is not available. So influence multiple aspects of honeybee biology, including foraging behavior, reproduction, disease susceptibility, and overall colony growth. If there is a sudden change in the temperature, that will affect the life of these honeybees and the other pollinators. Alterations in habitat, floral sources, and landscape fragmentation further affect bee plant interactions, leading to changes in the behavior and colony productivity. Now, some seasonal biological activities are happening 15 to 20 days earlier than several decades. Changes in timing differ from species to species, so ecological interactions are disrupted. IMD monitoring reveals that warming scenario exceeding 1.5 degrees centigrade would certainly expect the dormancy of chilling requirement of both stone and palm fruits. Because of rise in temperature and decline in overall precipitation, apple in lower altitude is shifting upwards, replacing with low chilling crops like peach and apricots. Now, it is not only the mismatch that results in productivity of the crop and this survival of the pollinators, they also affect the disease component, the pest. Temperature fluctuations directly influence the proliferation of pathogens such as Nosema species and various viruses with warmer conditions enhancing their survival, replication and transmission rates, thereby increasing the risk of colony level infections. Furthermore, climatic shifts are expected to alter the geographic distribution of parasites and pathogens. The ectoparasitic mite, Varroa destructor, for example, is projected to expand its range from previously unsuitable habitat as temperature increase, thereby exposing native bee populations to new epidemiological threats. Climate change induced phenological shifts in floral sources disrupt synchrony between foraging activity and food availability. Such mismatch lead to nutritional deficiencies, impairing immune competence and thereby heightening susceptibility to opportunistic infections. Climate change also alters the virulence and prevalence of pathogen haplotypes, increasing the likelihood that honeybee populations will encounter more aggressive strains which they have not with co-world. Now, climate change significantly influences the availability and suitability of feeding and nesting sites. Since bees are highly sensitive to environmental conditions, shift in temperature, rainfall, and habitat structure can disrupt their locality to locate appropriate nesting sites and forage for food. Alterations in floral sources, changes in temperature and precipitate patterns alter the timing, abundance, and distribution of flowering plants, critical sources of nectar and pollen for the bees. When flowering period no longer aligns with the bee foraging activity, mismatches occur, leading to food shortage. Shifts in geographical ranges may drive plants to higher latitude and altitude, disrupting long-standing bee-plant interactions. Then habitat fragmentation. Climate changes intensify habitat fragmentation, making it harder for the bees to access continuous foraging areas. Urbanization, agriculture, and infrastructure expansion further fragment habitats, isolating bee populations and limiting food supply. Now, unpredictable temperature shifts challenge bees' ability to maintain stable hive conditions, and changes in rainfall patterns may restrict bees to access water, impairing their ability to regulate temperature. Similarly, effect of temperature affects the bee behavior and reproductive success. As ectothermic organisms, bee activity is strongly influenced by external temperature. Extreme heat or cold restricts foraging and may shift activity to cooler morning and evening hours. High temperatures can impair larval and pupal development, reducing colony productivity. So it affects the behavior as well as reproduction. And then it also alters the genetics. Climate change also exerts profound influence on honeybee life cycle. It is widely recognized different races of Apis mellifera mature at varying rates. So genetically, there may be changes resulting in deformities. The consequence of this pollinator decline: increased vulnerability of some plant species to extinction, although consequences are difficult to define in non-agriculture system. Some plant populations that are dependent on affected pollinator for reproduction could become more vulnerable to extinction. Decreasing bee population in environment resulted in less effective pollination, decreasing crop yield by 30%. Climate change have impact on native pollinator ecosystem, especially bumblebees and sultry bees, and their decreasing is in close connection to plant species extinction. If climate change disrupts the timing of flowering and behavior of pollinators such as butterflies, bumblebees, and even mosquito, then the intimate relation between plants and pollinators that have co-evolved over thousands of years will irrevocably be altered. Then climate change also affects the species richness. Climate change has already affected species range among birds and Euphyderas editha, a butterfly in the western USA. Precipitations declines in high altitude amphibian communities in a Costa Rican cloud forest habitat would appear to coincide with recent. In Canada, two species of butterfly, the Gorgon checker spot and the Delaware skipper, have recently established breeding populations near Ottawa, Ontario, well behind the previous northern limits of their respective ranges. The purpose is to say that climate change will affect the species richness. Some species may be lost, some may shift to other areas. Climate change threatens the pollination timing. Impact of global warming on phenology, timing of climate-sensitive biological events, including flowering, insect emergence, and bird feeding behavior. Changes in timing of flowering in higher altitudes, alpine environments, potentially resulting in a reduced reproductive success with serious negative impacts on growth, plants, and pollinators. Changing environments are expected to lead changes in life cycles, life events, leading to asynchrony between species or competition between the plants. As I have already explained, next. Now, this model shows if the climate changes, it will have impact on both the plants and the pollinators. It will affect the distribution of the plants. It will affect the pollinators. It will affect the temporal mismatch, then spatial mismatch, resulting in plant pollinator interactions. It will affect the vegetation numbers, pollen deposition, reproductive success, and population dynamics. In case of pollinator, nectar pollen amounts will be affected, food availability will be affected, reproductive success will be affected, population dynamics will be affected. Now, temporal response to the effects of phenological shifts on a given population of a species will also depend upon whether the other species on which it relies for food or seed dispersal can change with it. For example, if populations that benefit from each other respond differently to climate change, then the extinction of both is must, because they will not be able to change with the climatic conditions. These are some of the examples. During April 2007, farmers in Taiwan reported heavy losses in bee for no reason. Bee boxes had been emptied. Experts say volatile weather may be to blame. Temperature recently swung from 20 to 30 degrees centigrade over a few days, and this may have done for the bees. In 2007, mango trees in Andhra flowered 3 months earlier, because of the rising heat. Normally, in case of Kashmir, normally almond flowers in Kashmir in March, but during 2000, flowering occurred in December, result when there was no pollinating activity, leading to a total loss of the crop. Climate change during the past few years has played a critical role in apple pollination. Low temperatures adversely affect fruit set in apple. Weather has impacted not just birds, ladybirds, butterflies across the country, and soon mammals will be next. Now, a very recent example of 2026. This year, on 8th, 25th February, the news was published in Delhi Excelsior, Times of India, and other papers that in some areas of Kashmir, the almonds were in flowering. Normally, flowering occurs in March, mid March. But this year, the average temperature was 10 degree above the normal temperature. So climate change can severely affect the crop productivity. This is the latest example of this year. Even in Ladakh, which is highly vulnerable to natural disasters due to its arid high altitude terrain with major risks including crows, cloudbursts, flash floods, and avalanches. The most devastating event was in 2010 in Leh flash floods, which killed over 255 people, damaged 71 villages, and caused widespread destruction. Moreover, increased private variability is expected to cause fluctuations in income, compelling beekeepers to invest more in equipment for peak production while maintaining resilience times for reduced yield. In addition to delivering vital services to human populations, pollinators play a crucial role in maintaining ecosystem functions, supporting biodiversity, and enabling natural ecosystem to adapt to external pressures. Therefore, effective conservation strategies are essential to safeguard pollinators for economic stability, food security, and livelihood. Now, how we can overcome this problem? A diverse assemblage of pollinators with different traits and responses to ambient conditions is one of the best way to minimizing risk due to climate change. The insurance provided by diversity of pollinators ensures there are effective pollinators not just for current conditions but for the future as well. A biodiverse ecosystem with many more facultative interactions between crops and crop associated biodiversity may contribute significantly to carbon sequestration. For conservation of and sustainable use of pollinator, promote coordinated action, monitor pollinator decline and its causes, address the lack of taxonomic information, assess the economic value of pollination and economic impact, promote the conservation and restoration. The initiative is to be complemented as a cross-cutting initiative within the program of work on agriculture biodiversity. Now, as I was telling yesterday, we have in Sakash Jammu this techniques available for domestication of wild pollinators. They are not honey producers, but they are the best for pollination. In fields, you have to install this bamboo stems, these castor stems. The wild pollinator will automatically make their nesting sites, and a force will be available for pollination in all seasons. Now, unfortunately, what we are not aware the services the bees are providing. We take the service free as a free for granted. Now, this Pawan Sukhdev had said, not even a single bee has ever sent you an invoice. That is a part of problem because most of what it comes us from nature is free because it is not invoiced, it is not priced, because it is not traded in markets. We tend to ignore. So we do not understand what the services these pollinators are doing. These are doing services. They have never sent an invoice. we are taking this money for this. So that is the reason we are ignoring them. In conclusion, I would say pollinators are guardians of the biological integrity of ecosystem, acting as mobile biomediators of the local environment. A critical component to ecosystem sustainability, pollinators are important to nation's economy, addressing their needs often has a broader implications related to management of biodiversity and biological integrity. When pollinators are in trouble, ecosystems are in trouble. So thank you. If the bees disappeared off the surface of the globe, mankind would have only 4 years left. No bees, no more pollination, no more grass, no more animal, no more man. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for the enlightening talk and your research services. This session is open for questions, and we have time for 2 questions. Yes. Yes, Mr. Purva.
Sir, you have been my inspiration, and I have been referring your books since the beginning from 2007. And it's my honor and happiness that I want to share with you. So that quote with Mr. Pawan has quoted about bees should raise, they have not raised any invoice. So in my presentation also I have expressed that there is a 1,12,000 crores the bees are generating, bees and small pollinators are generating for mankind, leaving the biodiversity part only with agriculture. So they are giving us that much of money, and how much money we are giving back as a budget. It could be the policy made by the state and other things.
That is the problem lies. We need to explain our government, our agencies, that this is a not free service. If they survive, we will survive. Ecosystem will survive. This universe will survive. So it should not be taken as a free service. We should do something to conserve them. I tell you a very small example. A person aged around 85 was admitted in hospital. He was on ventilator for 2-3 days. So when a bill was given, it was around 3 or 4 lakh rupees. So he started weeping. Doctor told, if you don't have money, so you tell me, don't cry. उसने कहा, I am thankful to that God. For 85 years, he maintained me without this ventilator. How much money I could have spent if I had a ventilator for 85 years? For 3 years, 3 days, I am paying this 5 lakhs. But I should be thankful to that God who has given me free oxygen. So we do not realize the free things which we are getting it. But we must realize this free is not free.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else?
We have time for one more question, if any.
Okay. Online तो कोई नहीं है?
नहीं, sir.
ठीक.
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to request the keynote speakers to take their chairs. Yes, evaluation, oral presentations, you take the chairs. नीचे जाना. Now we have 3 oral presentations. Please note that the time for the oral presentation is only 12 minutes, followed by 3 minutes for questions. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So we have 10 minutes for oral presentation and 2 minutes for questions. I would like to also request the organizing committee to provide with the evaluation sheet to the examiners, and all the examiners are the same. So the oral presentation will be evaluated. So for the oral presentation, the first presenter is Dr. Swati Sharma from University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, United States of America. And please, I request Swati to come and present her work. Okay, sir. I request all the three oral presentations by Dr. Swati Sharma first, and Dr. Nadeem Nisar, and Manoj Kumar, and Mamoon Ahmed to come to the dais and sit here, and we will start with the presentation here.
Should we start? Make it fast. Looking left and right is not the right thing. Okay, go ahead.
A very good morning, everyone. And today I'm Dr. Swati Sharma. I am a research collaborator in UNC, USA, and presently I'm teaching nutrition biochemistry in the RC University of Delhi. So I would be talking about the biochemistry of high altitude, what it does to your heart, and how honey can be used as a neuro pharmaceutical for that, and how honey has cardioprotective properties, and what is the difference between the high altitude honey and the lowland honey. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, we need to understand what is high altitude. So any elevation above the sea level, which is more than 2,500 meters, is termed as high altitude. And though the atmospheric pressure is very less at high altitudes, the body is under the pressure always. Why it is so? Because there are certain key features of the high altitude. First of them is hyperbaric hypoxia. It means the oxygen percentage is same. It's 21% over here also, but the atmosphere is thin. So that is termed as hyperbaric hypoxia. So we have reduced oxygen availability. We have high oxidative stress because of the lower oxygen pressure. There is increased ROS activation, which can damage the cellular membranes, proteins, and DNA. Also, it have a strain on the cardiovascular system because your heart need to pump more blood to maintain the blood fluid volume for the better exchange of the oxygen. So the cardiovascular system is under strain, and there is a body's fight for the survival. So why we need to study the cardiovascular disease? Because the cardiovascular disease are the one of the world's leading cause of the death. And now we need to examine the nature's oldest sweetener, which is honey, as unexpected friend, which can be a natural candidate for reducing cardiovascular risk. So I did my PhD from DRDO DePaz, where my PhD work was to screen the natural compounds for their antithrombotic capabilities. Thrombosis is a blood clotting disease, and the natural compounds which are anticoagulant can be used as profile access. Because I was working in DRDO, so entire work was focused on military, which is posted to Siachen, and we were screening some natural compounds which were be given to the soldiers. So when I made a compound library, I found phenolics and quercetin. They are highly important, and honey by default have phenolic compounds. So now research interest in honey as a cardioprotective agent has grown significantly over the past decade. It spanned the lipid regulation, oxidative stress, and tissue repair. So why honey? Long before the modern pharmacology, civilization across the world turned to honey as a cornerstone of healing. Today, science is being to validate what traditional practitioners have known for millennia. Honey is far more than a sweetener. So why honey is important? It is not only rich in glucose or fructose, it contains more than 200 bioactive compounds, including flavonoids, phenolic acids, enzymes, vitamins, minerals, and each contribute to its therapeutic potential. So if you screen chemical databases such as PubChem, Zinc, you can see the profile of all these 200 compounds, and then you can screen those compounds for their antithrombotic or anti-inflammatory potential. They have anti-inflammatory action because the polyphenols which are present in the honey, they suppress pro-inflammatory cytokines and NF-kappa B pathway. So those who are biochemists here, they would know that NF-kappa B is a transcription factor, and it regulates many genes which are involved in the inflammation and clotting cascade. One of such gene is TF, which is tissue factor. So tissue factor initiate the extensive cascade of the blood clotting. it makes blood clot and it makes blood thicker. So if you have something which can regulate NF-kappa B, which in turn regulate tissue factor, you can actually control the viscosity of the blood, and the blood would remain in the more fluid state. So your blood volume would be maintained. And that is why, it is always advised to have more water for acclimatization to the high altitude so that the blood fluid volume is maintained. So honey also helps in that. And it is anti-inflammatory because of the polyphenol content. And it also have antimicrobial properties because of the hydrogen peroxide, methyl glycol, and defensin 1 protein that gives it a broad spectrum antimicrobial activity, and it protects against the infection induced cardiac stress, because cardiac stress can be of two types. It can be either infectious because of some infectious agents such as coccidiovirus, or it can be sterile because of the conditions only. So honey is protective in both the cardiac stress, whether it is infectious or it's sterile. So now, why we are studying high altitude honey? Here I would be giving you a unique profile because when I was doing the meta-analysis, I did a search on PubMed and I found there are no papers on Ladakh honey, whereas there are several papers on northeastern Himalayan honeys in Indian context. So we need to, sell our honey, our Ladakh honey. And as Sir said, we need to do the profiling of the honey. Because in the last talk yesterday, Apoorv sir mentioned that each honey need to be characterized. So we need to characterize the unique profile of the high altitude honey. Why it is unique? Because the environmental influence, the UV exposure is high, there are temperature fluctuations, so plants are adapted to these stress. So when plants are adapted to these stresses, they have different polyphenol content. They are rich in vitamin C. So when honeybees collect nectars from these plants, they automatically have different profile. Their quercetin and lutein content is high. Honey from the altitudes above 1700 meters shows significant elevated levels of quercetin, heprosite, and lutein. These are the potent flavonoids, and they are very well documented. There are more than 1,000 publications in PubMed for their roles as cardioprotective, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant. Then their tryptophan content is high, and they have distinct metabolite profile. But when I searched all these for Indian context, I found only one paper from the Ladakh in PubMed, that was the beekeeping. So right now, though we have different honeys, we have different honey from alfalfa, and we have different honey from sea buckthorn and buckwheat, as mentioned yesterday. But we do not have the HPLC profile. We need to do that so that we can and cash it in the international market, what the people from the northeast are doing. So these are the two papers from the northeast. So my proposal is that the same thing can be done on the honey which we are procuring from the local things, and we can do the principal component analysis of the Ladakh honey, and then we can compare the total phenol content, the total flavonoid content, and the toluene content with other honeys, and we can propose that these high altitude honey is better in this profile as compared to the low land honey, and that's why it will offer more cardioprotective properties. Because see, the honey from the northeastern Himalayas, it has already been analyzed for its species, and this paper is very recent. It's from 2025, September 2025, and the publication is also Nature's. It's scientific reports. So they have found that Meghalayan and Assamese honey, they have high total phenolic content, total flavonoid content, and total toluene content. And I hypothesize the honey from the buckwheat will also have these profile, because when the sir showed the slides yesterday, the color was dark. So the dark color shows high proline content and high polyphenolic content. So if we do the HPLC or NMR analysis, we can, surely publish it and then encash it in the international market. And we can just mention that the cold arid climate is very important for the concentration of the bioactive compounds, both in the flora and also in the honey, which amplify the antioxidant potency. And the native honeybee species, so there are very few native honeybee species which are found in Ladakh, so they are also useful. Now we can compare both the honey qualities with the lowland and the Ladakh in the high altitude honey. So what are the cardioprotective properties of the honey? First is antioxidant activities, which is because of the flavonoids, as it reduces the reactive oxygen species. Second is anti-inflammatory effect because of the suppression of NF-kappa B activation. And then also the regulation of the lipid metabolism because it regulates the total cholesterol. So we can also do the plasma lipid profiling and blood pressure modulation when the people are consuming honey, and we can do a retrospective study on a population. So this is the evidence from the journal Honey Research. This was done in the Indian population, but in the Northwest regulation. So you can also measure the blood pressure regulation, LDL cholesterol reduction, and endothelial function. So the future potential for Ladakh region is specifically is human randomized controlled trials, then GI indication or branding, because only 5 GI indicated honeys are present in India. One is Dogri, Nilgiri, Kashmiri, and Sundarban. So we can do the GI tagging of the Ladakh honey. Then we can export the market development. So we need to do the scientific validation and do the sustainable promising. So this picture I want to highlight, this picture is from the Thailand and it was from a restaurant. So I also proposed that the restaurant, because Ladakh is a tourist area, so restaurant here can also be, clubbed with the honey beekeeping. It will impact the tourist and also you can teach them. For example, I visited Rancho School. So it's empty space, people are there only for clicking pictures. So that school premises can be used for training school students for honey keeping, and it will also attract tourists. You can sell your honey products to the tourist as well. So thank you. I hope I'm within the time limits.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swati. We have time for two questions.
I have a question. That was a wonderful presentation, ma'am. Actually, this is what we need in Ladakh, because you can find, honey everywhere in the world, and marketing is based on its the quality. So you have specified certain ingredients. So how to, analyze these ingredients?
You can do HPLC, you can do NMR, and
Okay.
you can also
Is there any institute, ma'am, where we can? Yeah.
in Delhi.
Okay.
So there is Dr. Sayed N.
Okay.
He does a very collaborative work.
Okay.
Because I used to work there for 2 3 months. I just worked with him,
Mhm.
and he was working with some pharma industry.
Okay.
So you can always collaborate with him. You can give him your samples.
And he's sufficient for giving certification of this chemical, and we can attack our honey.
Yes, I guess.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
you can ask him because he's a very multi-network person.
Oh, what's his name? I will take. Yeah, later on. Yeah. Thank you,
Or
ma'am.
you can talk with my boss, Dr. Zahid Ashraf.
Okay.
He is Dean of Faculty, Natural Sciences in Jamia Millia Islamia.
Okay.
So he introduced me to Said sir because I work on garlic, ginger, and papaya and their natural components as a cardioprotective agent. So I know that his lab works on
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah, because yes, ma'am. Because quantity-wise, Ladakh, you can see it's very difficult,
Yes. So
but quality-wise, we can have a very
yes,
good
for
benefit.
we
Yeah.
can always have those cafes associated with all the products.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
You attract tourists.
Yes.
And then you can sell your products over there at good price.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one more questions. I would request the students to please ask. Okay, yes, Professor Devjan. Yes.
Ma'am, there was no publication. I just got only one publication for Ladakh. I searched the,
That is here, I think it was your publication with you.
and it was on beekeeping. So I could not see any publication for the honey. Yes, yes. That's why I'm saying that.
Presentation. You can show.
That's why I'm saying that it should be done and published. And then now we can have QR codes of the publication on the product as well. So because now people are more aware. They want to see the proof of everything. So this was the only publication that I got with the keywords in the PubMed and the Google Scholar.
You have analyzed the Ladakh.
No, ma'am, that
You have not done.
no, that's need because that need to have permission and collaborations. So I was just doing the meta-analysis. That is what I mentioned in my abstract also. That I did the meta-analysis. That is in silico analysis.
And the Northeast paper, Does that mention about the?
Yes, they have mentioned their content, everything. Yes, and also the percentage wise, they have compared different bee varieties because they have like poly honey, which is collected by different bees, and mono honey. So they have explained everything.
Thank you, Dr. Swati Sharma, for an excellent talk. And we will also continue the discussions during the networking time. I would like to now ask Mr. Manoj Kumar and Mr. Mamun Ahmed to present their work. Both are students from University of Ladakh. And this will be our last presentation because the two presenters have requested to move their presentation online mode. So this will be the last presentation.
Good morning to everyone. Today, my topic is about Apis arena and stationary apiculture. Our main motive is how we can sustaining livelihood and valorizing functional honey in a cold desert of Ladakh. Okay. These are the previous study conducted by the University of Ladakh Agriculture Science and Technology and the Kargil Kusat Kashmir, the Krishi Vigyan Kendra, and making a real progress in October 2025. They extracted buckwheat honey from the cold desert of Ladakh first time. Now we can go to the main part. We are proposing an idea how we can efficiently do stationary apiculture in Leh Ladakh, particularly in this cold desert condition, in the all over through year without any shifting or migration. Because from the previous study, we analyzed two main threats in this apiculture in Leh Ladakh. The first one is right bee in the wrong system. Already, people are adapted to Apis arena, but it not in a big massive way because Apis arena only doing in the laboratory analysis basis and the very small supply chain basis. So the next problem is we identify the migration cost because every time in the cold time we shifting our hall honey hives to the Jaipur and again shifting back to Ladakh. It will make the more migration cost. It will make I feel it make don't any uniqueness in our honeybee because Ladakh have a unique policy in agriculture fertilizer usage. It have 0% usage and 0% carbon emission because here only the more value add on in our honeybee manufacturing, particularly in Ladakh. Right down, we can arise a question why we have to particularly do apiculture in Leh Ladakh region because it have a very unique floral seasons like Sibaktan, wild apricot, and alfalfa, buckwheat, wild rose. These are the things mainly only present in Ladakh. It will give a very unique monofloral and a polyfloral honey combination that we can sell very highly in a market ranges. So the main question is how our idea will solve the all problems. I will tell one by one. First, we are giving the main thing is breeding. Apis arena in a very massive breeding system. Under the NBH scheme, our university will conduct Apis arena in a massive breeding program. It will make very small vendors and very small farmers. They can easily get the Apis arena. Why? Because we choosing the Apis arena particularly because in the trans Himalayan native honeybee variant because in naturally it have a very high cold resistance. In a group of honeybee hives, it can easily sustain to minus 20 to minus 25 degrees Celsius without any insulation and everything. So we choosing the particular arena in a mass bee production, then they will supply to the small vendors and the local farmers. Then our main module is infrastructural innovation. Basically, how it will look is this image will represent this. Here, we first layer of the protection, we adding the adobe plate structure. Why we mentioning here adobe plate structure is adobe plate structure was a unique structural idea of Leh Ladakh region. It naturally have a cold resistant competency. You can easily see in the village area of Leh Ladakh, the people are building homes from this. Then the another insulation layer is we protecting the insulation materials. Then the third layer we putting the weatherproof sheet. And our main part of the innovation in this study is particularly with a solar panel with a IoT sensor monitoring system. What it will give? Basically, this IoT system, the main part is ESP32. It is a brain of this whole hive. Basically, what is solar panel will give the power source of this whole unit. Mainly, it will monitor the CO2 content and the humidity, then the weight of the colony and the measurement of the hive and the temperature. Everything will be the monitoring at the every time. Specifically, we are hearing using the LoRa module, the long range module. How it will be work means, if anything, the inside the hive, the problem, the cold inside, sudden decrease of the cold weather, it will directly indicate messages to the farmers. That time they can easily arrange the system. Play the video. Basically, how our system will be look like, it is a visual representation of that. Small kind of video, sir. This is a short 10-second video only. Basically, how it will look. We are putting the honey hive system inside with this fully structural building. Then the main part, without the proper marketing, how we can get the more returns from this. Our next thing is we are giving in a fully functional, how we can market this. In this part, we are firstly we considering about the local farmers. The average Ladakhi landholder has 0.5 hectares of land. In this, the average Ladakhi landholder has 0.5 hectares of land. In this, without any cross displacement or any other interference, we are giving the 200 square feet in idea. Basically, go to the previous slide, please. In this, the height and the measurement of the total this structure is, the height could be the 10 feet and the length could be the 20 feet and the width could be the 10 feet. Total, we are occupying the 200 square feet of area. In this, one small farmer can easily put a 10 hives with each hive within a 2 feet distance, within a 3 feet long of walking distance. Per hive, we can expect 5 to 7 kgs of honey. The total implementation cost, if we get a government from a subsidy, the sensor cost will be the 3,500 per the hive, the total structure. Then the total buildup of the structure cost in between the 40,000. Then how we can market and how we can get a more maximum return on this. Because if a single farmer going for everything like a food licensing, testing part, then geotag application, it will make very much headache to them. But our cooperative model, basically the NGOs, we are suggesting this idea, the group of villagers join together and work in this particular field. That time they will do a particular group, they will do the food licensing part and the geotag analyzing part, everything they will do. They basically procure from the small farmers and they do sell and they will do the every works like a geotagging, food licensing and the every part. Later they can easily, this is the ROI report of that. Not any studies are conducted, it is our rough estimation how much returns they will get. In first year only the implementation cost, the next upcoming years the maintenance only, and this is our ROI report. And from the byproduct of that honey bee, we can get the bee wax and the honey bee jelly also, and the nucleus colony splits also. after the geotagging pact and the proper food licensing pact, we can easily sell the honey to 1000 to 1500 kg. And with more, if we export the honey, that time the honey value will be double the price. Because Ladakh only have the unique polyfloral and the monofloral consumption of Shibaktan, apricot and alpha honey. Then our main motive is staying the honeybees all over the time in Leh Ladakh region, because zero pollution, zero carbon emission, it will make the honey much more purity increase. Our study will combine the biology and infrastructure economics aligned to the first time. The bright bee surveys in the winter without moving and reduce the transportation cost, and the right hive keeps it alive, decreasing the mortality rate comparing to the migration of bees here to Jaipur. The right model ensures the farmer earns more and worries less and build something permanent. Thank you.
Very good presentation, Manoj and Mamun. Now we have time for two more questions.
Sir, I have a question. You have
Take the mic.
presented a wonderful structure suitable for Ladakh condition, but you have not mentioned the temperature. What will be the temperature maintained inside during the peak winter season, that is -20, and has it been tested? So
It is now in the idea basis. We have, if we get any funding, we can implement this idea.
what will be the temperature?
Temperature.
Yeah, expected temperature under this structure in -20 in Ladakh condition.
If in case it will go to the -20 or 25 outside, but inside the hive system it will maintain +50.
+15. So I think it is a very good idea, but we need to be tested in the field. Then only we can go forward, isn't it?
We have mainly we have 3 layers of this. Adobe place structure, then the insulation part, then
So whatever the idea you have given is very good, wonderful. But I think we, yes, sir, yeah, we have a bee project there, and we have a good infrastructure. If Honorable Vice Chancellor give permission, we will have a structure over there, and we will check for its its performance. And it will be a very big, I think, achievement, sir, if it is done. Yes, sir.
Very good. We have time for one more question.
Just a clarification. Why you are insisting of shifting the heights to Jaipur? You said no.
yes,
So that is, it will take a lot of money.
Yeah.
What about nearby areas like Jammu?
because right now they are shifting to Jaipur only, ma'am. From the Kargil region to they're shifting farmers to Jaipur region only, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Actually, we don't have facilities in Jammu, ma'am. So most of the honey, even from Kashmir, under Squash-K, they are going to Rajasthan. It is, cheaper for maintenance and everything compared to Jammu.
Distance is prohibitive, no? There might be mortality also.
Hmm.
Yeah, but we need to consider the presenter as well as Professor Firoz. Madam, this was the normal practice before.
Yes.
Now, in last 5 years, they are developing a facility.
In Jammu.
And is saying that we can also try. That is why Professor Firoz is saying
Yeah.
that we can try this one. So this was the normal practice here.
Another question I meant to ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
They are talking about yak wool.
Yeah.
Yak wool for insulation.
Yeah, yeah.
No other method is there for insulation. See,
Actually,
houses
yeah.
also, the houses which you are building,
Yes, ma'am.
they are built with hollow
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
This is quite costly.
Yeah.
Other, material which you could use for insulation.
Yeah, actually, local, what he has suggested, he has added yak wool. All the structures in Ladakh for preserving, to maintain the temperature is the same structure he has given. But in addition, he has provided yak wool. So maybe it is a trial purpose. Maybe it is having more, because yak wool is easily available. Yeah, easily available. I think hair is not costly. Yeah, yeah. That we need to. I mean, that is trial. Yeah, that need to be work. That's what we are. I mean, trying to. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have to make it farmer oriented and cheap. Yeah, yeah, and cost effective. Exactly. That will be done.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Manoj and Mamun, for excellent work. And I hope you both continue doing some good work. With this, we conclude this session, and I would like to now request the chairperson, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Saket Kushwaha, to conclude this session with his remarks. Thank you.
Okay. I have to come over there? Yes. Okay. But I think two presenters are still, they have shifted, so, yeah. My sincere greetings to all of you. And apology also for starting this session late, but all the same, we are going to manage the time. First of all, I think we are still gathering the various kind of information. I mean, this is the right forum for us to collect the information and then bridge the gap between whatever is happening in the other part of the country or maybe other part of the globe and here in Ladakh. This is one. Second thing is that I think there's a need for us to, because this word is very frequently we are using in the system, sustainable development. For me, I feel that maybe the presenters can take note, researchers may also take note, that what they mean by sustainable development. I feel that wherever we wish to see the sustainability, there's a need for us to have minimum externally purchased input. Madam asked a question from the last presentation that why yak wool? Yak wool is very expensive, but that is internally available here, and that is cheaper source of insulation also. So sustainability concept is a very broad concept. I believe that for any system, Mahatma Gandhi also used this word in different way, that we should rely on the locally available inputs, and our dependency on the externally purchased input must be reduced. Then only we can make certain impact in the life, and this will be like a free flow, floating freely. And that is the same system we are using when we define the various school of thought of sustainability. Otherwise, I will say that first important phase of sustainability is to sustain the population in that geographical area. If population in that area is not fed well, three requirements of the population, that means food, shelter, and water is not met, then naturally there will be crisis. So we have to think in this line. Second thing is that what is the ideal content of honey? You see, everywhere we are talking about fortification of the items we are consuming. Let us consider the milk which we have in our hand now. Most of the milk we are buying from these Amul dairy or any, they fortify it because the animal, the fodder which animal is consuming is also deficient in many ways. I believe that research must be taken by a researcher that whether the honeybee is also producing deficient honey. This has to be checked. We are taking things for granted that honey which we are harvesting is is sufficient, but I believe it might be deficient in many ways. So even Ayurved scientists have, those people who are involved in Ayush or Ayurved, they have to also consider that whatever natural produce we are harvesting and converting in form of product. I believe you all know the difference between produce and product. So the produce we are harvesting naturally, whether it is sufficient or deficient, that research has to be taken up. So this is one. And second thing is that I'm very happy personally, but I don't want to influence the juries from the last presentation. These students, they have taken up a big task and they are our student anyways. Another thing is that I think there's a need for us to strike the balance between various kind of component. You see, components could be various vertical ecology. then we have to simulate the technological aspect, policy aspect, then livelihood security. I mean, we must strike a balance somewhere. If you try to, these objectives are the conflicting objectives. I think there's a need for us to take a modeling aspect also. Whenever you have a conflicting objective, when they conflict, that means suppose you want to increase the income in this area, that means you are supposed to either use the chemical fertilizer because productivity is very low, but state policy, that means UT policy, will contradict it. So there's need for us to strike the balance between all these kind of thing. Presentation were very good. We are still expecting 2 more presentation which are shifted from physical mode to the online mode. But I would like to know also that why they have opted this. They are already here. So what happened to them? If it is a health aspect, we should take care of them. If it is not a health aspect, then why they have done this one? Because they are supposed to be here present in this arena in physical mode. So I conclude my remark by saying that I'm personally very happy from these 2 keynote speaker also. And then the 2 other presentation, Dr. Swati and the other team. And I think there are some take-away message also, take-home message, that what further research we could do in this area. Professor Faizan, I give you a task of having this kind of structure in your, you take either on-farm trial or maybe field trial cannot be done, but
Yes,
on-farm trial we can do in one of the KVK.
Sure,
Thank
sir.
you very much. बाकी लोगों को नहीं करोगे, जनरल को भी करते हैं। अच्छा, ठीक है। All right.
So at the end, we would like to facilitate our keynote speakers. First, Dr. Parvattam sir with a traditional khatak and a memento. Thank you so much.
सेंटर में आ जाए। मीडिया वालों की बात मानिए। जैसे हम लोग यहाँ लद्दाख में इसमें सत्तू रख के खाते हैं, राइट? बाकी लोगों को दे रहे हैं कि अपने घर में ड्राई फ्रूट रख लें।
Next, I would like to request Professor Dharampal Abrol to kindly come to the stage and receive a traditional khatak. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We had an excellent session. Now we will move to the next session, which will be moderated by Dr. Amjad Hussain. And I request Dr. Amjad to come to the dais and continue the next session. Yes.
Professor Saket Kushwaha, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh, respected dignitaries, eminent speakers, researchers, scholar delegates, and participants joining us from different parts of the country and abroad online. A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of Department of Zoology, University of Ladakh, I extend my warm and cordial welcome to everyone to the technical online session first of the World Honey Conclave 2026. This session has been organized around significant and contemporary themes, including beekeeping, apiculture and technological innovation, biodiversity conservation and pollination ecology, economics, market dynamics, policy and regulatory frameworks, sustainability and climate action, cultural heritage, traditional knowledge, and epitourism. These themes reflect the growing importance of honey, pollinators, biodiversity conservation, sustainable livelihoods, ecological balance, and technological innovation in shaping a resilient and sustainable future. We are deeply honored to have Professor Saket Kushwaha, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh, as the chairperson of this session. His visionary leadership, academic excellency, and commitment towards research, innovation, and sustainable development continue to inspire the academic and scientific community. I, Dr. Amjad Hussain, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, feel privileged to serve as the moderator for this important technical session. The proceeding and technical deliberation of this session will be documented by our esteemed rapporteurs, Dr. Sultim Zangmo, Dean, School of Languages, Ms. Jingme Dangmo from Lama Project, Ms. Padma Lamo, Research Scholar, Department of Zoology, and Ms. Siring Dolma, Research Scholar, Department of Zoology. We are privileged to begin today's session with the keynote address by eminent expert in the field. So our first keynote speaker is Professor Chandrasekhar Biradar from Global Green Growth Corp, Bengaluru. Professor Chandrasekhar Biradar is a distinguished academician, sustainability strategist, and director of Global Green Growth, Bengaluru. He has extensive experience in the domains of sustainable development, environmental governance, climate adaptation, and green innovation ecosystem. His professional engagement focus on integrating ecological sustainability with inclusive growth, economic growth, particularly through community-centered development models and rural livelihood enhancement initiatives. Professor Biradar has actively collaborated with academic institutions, policy organizations, and international development stakeholders in promoting environmentally responsible growth frameworks. His contributions include research, training, consultancy, and advocacy related to biodiversity, conservation, circular economy practices, climate resilience, and sustainable resource management. He is also known for fostering interdisciplinary collaboration aimed at addressing global environmental challenges through science, innovation, and policy integration. May I now respectfully invite Professor Chandrasekhar M. Biradar to deliver his keynote address. Over to you, sir. Chandrasekhar, sir. Am I audible to you, sir? Please unmute Dr. Chandrasekhar. Technical committee, please unmute Dr. Chandrasekhar. You are not audible, sir. Am I audible to you, sir? You are not audible, sir.
So how about, sir, my voice is clear?
Yes. Now you are audible, sir.
Okay. So should I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Sorry, so because the voice was not clear, then let me say my presentations.
Yeah. You have 15 minutes, sir. 10 minutes, sir.
Sir, can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
How many minutes allowed to speak?
10 minutes, sir.
10 minutes, okay. Let me put into this full. So is it a full screen is visible? Hello? Sir, can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can start, sir.
You can start. So,
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you again for the World Honey Conclave and Honorable Vice Chancellor and Dr. Subrat Sharma. And first of all, my apology also that I'm not able to be there today because of we got stuck in something urgent with ministerial, some big large funding. So I have to give justification to stay back.
And I'll quickly go through that suggested topic of why bees are the guardian of the future, and why they're necessary in terms of the, the framework. And as you know, the health is wealth, but as present, looking at all the WHO or ICMR, all the statistics, every second Indian lethargic are not fit for physical, and lot diabetic, and then cardiological diseases. So this is where often linked to the 90% of that linked to the food systems and our broken health systems in every possible way. And this is where we're trying to look into how our agriculture is really contributing to some of those aspects of the we achieved India had achieved in terms of the nutritional, in terms of food security, in terms of the calories, but not the nutrition. So this is where the broken food systems, and that links to a lot of the issues, multiple crises. And one of the crises associated with the loss of the pollinators and sustainable framework and indicators. And this is where we need to move away from the current diets to the planetary health level and look into all the conventional agriculture practices or food systems are outside our safe operating space. And this is where the tree-based food systems going to play a vital role, where the honeybees and pollinators are the vital forces. And you look into our transition pathway since the what we call industrial agriculture to the present now, and it's very clear that how much the loss of the vertebrates and the non-vertebrates, including the biodiversity, and taking the baseline of the 2010 and looking into our India's targets of the net zero and sustainable framework, Atmanirbhar Bharat, it's very clear that we are not there yet, so they have to be restored, the functionalities. And one thing comes that were not only about the food, but the safety of the foods and ecological food systems, and how that really, when looking at the export potential, are our food is safe enough to be consumed and export. So this is where the framework is very clearly that ecological bridge between the human well-beings and planetary health is very, very vital, and where the bees play the vital role in terms of linking the bees as a people and planet and the network and outcomes. All that three links together. And often we look into the conference like the Honey Conclave, we often focus on the business of the sweetness of the honey. Often we forget the ecology of the bee and food for the bees. And this is the world paradigm on the honey economy, and focus on the beekeeping, honey extractions, and yield per hives and market price, and artificial hives and isolated agriculture patches, of course, that's required, and also the production assets of the sweetener. But in the ecological framework, what is evolving so rapidly, it is the floral habitat restorations and native bees conservations, landscape diversity, food sovereignty, and legal protections, and 365 days green cover. Being a tropical country, we have the climate and opportunity to grow throughout the year, and this is where the bees became a kind of the landscape. So we all think about the framework of looking into the rewilding the landscape. Tree-based food systems, what I'm showing here is that completely degraded landscape in the 500 millimeter rainfall, we restore the diversity of the fruits, crops, and livestock, and that really return up the wild bees, native bees into the landscape, and also the redesigning our orchards and horticulture systems. And this is the one you can see in the left side, agroecology approach, and there's a conventional, where in conventional approaches, we keep the ground color clear and trimmed and pruned, and using a lot of the herbicide and pesticide. Other side, ecological approach is a mixed farming, and no tilling, no weeding, and most of the ground corn is the edible and what's called a fodder for the animals, and also the multifunctional systems. This is where the real pyramid of the system, the conservations, what effort you need to do it. And ecology and economy is very clear that, and wild food foundations, what we call a foundation of the 90% of the portion of the wildflowers, and 70% food supply is coming from those 35% of the global crop productions, and that is influenced by the pollinators. And look at the global economy of the annual crop productions is value directly linked to the pollination biology and pollinators. That is massive. And looking into the Indian local context, it is also the nearly about the 200 million that directly or indirectly proportional linked to the export. So, but when I'm looking into all the schemes, we are looking at what is happening at the present, in the past. We are a scheme designed to provide the boxes and training to the beekeepers and the farmers, and often we neglect their food. We look for a food for the people, but not for the food for the bees. This is where the restoration of the ecosystems, restoration of the year-round the floral landscape that's become vital forces. And yesterday I was talking with the DFR and their interesting the Honey Day event. It's very clear that since last couple of years, ICR, DFR bring very interesting habitat restoration kit and biodiversity enhanced kit. And this is basically bringing the throughout the year the what called habitat for the pollinators as a garden, as a bund planting, as forages, intercropping. And when you're doing the large-scale project in the Middle East and North Africa and Africa, and just introducing on the wildflower mix into the existing farming systems, either in the center of the field or the for bunding, that leads to the about 32 to 35% increase in the yield and also additional income for the farmer. But not just only that, so that leads to the restoration of what we call a biodiversity in the landscape. This is the framework we're talking about that from the wide relay to the gene pool extend to the seed systems. And bees are the one of the, all our bees experts sitting there. I don't need to go through this one. But what is required is how do we connect the wild flora into the domestic flora, how that bees gene pool is going to play a vital role, exchange of the resilient, climate resilient varieties to the flower and also the what you call adaptations to the natural selections. I think the bee, one of the part of the bee is we are putting enough money, effort into the crop breeding programs, but not where the role of the bees and pollinators play the vital role in the breeding program as well, that need accountable as. This is where this event, Bee Conclave, should think about this the aspect as well. Whether it is the mountains, high altitudes, whether rainforest, whether desert ecosystems. Look into that one picture I took into the Syria, and there is where the border planting of this wild mustards and poppy, and they're flourishing in the springs and also in the fall. And this is the flowers are everywhere, but whether we can retain that local flowering culture and the seed mix, you need to retain them. That's where native bees become custodians, whether climate adaptations in the high altitudes, the coastal ecosystems, and the conservation effort must be there everywhere. And this is a very economically viable ecological landscape. We have to do it. And this is the design. We did it in the rural landscape. It's my home in the rural area. Backyard biodiversity garden of the area we are building the house, and rest is below 50 types of the fruits and the flower plants going together. That is providing the daily fresh and fruits to the family throughout the year, but also supporting the bees, the local bees and the solitary bees, and a lot of the biodiversity in the urban landscape. And this is where I'm sitting, just the backside of this the garden here. And this is exactly where even the well-known our bee experts also there, Dr. Shantavira. And this is where designing the urban landscape also, enriching with new dynamics, because of nearly 50% of our populations now moving towards the urban areas, and restoring the urban biodiversity, a landscape design where so much of the area, look into the entire, the Bangalore example, giving it an entire rooftop to all the essential areas left fallow or not utilized properly. This is where you need to bring a floral landscape in urban and urban agroforestry, urban tree-based food systems. And quite a bit of exotics are there, often they not flower, and we need to replace them with something native like this. And from the individual small home gardens to the urban landscape to the rural landscape, this is where we design, instead of going with a multi or single monocropping systems and fight with all those diseases and pests, we design into the what we call a multifunctional food forest, and this is thriving into the complete drought area in the 2023 and 24. And this is also brings a lot of the habitat for the birds and the honeybees and predatory populations of insects, including the pollinators. And this is where we need a certain paradigm shift required. And conventional model of the what we call agriculture, input intensive, looking at nearly about 60 to 70% of the input, the based agriculture and monoculture and high emissions. You look at the amount of the pesticides and herbicides and adding into the landscape, and risk of external what's called externalized farmer. The yesterday's report I hearing that every 1 hour one farmer is suiciding in India because of all the debt and the pesticide, other things as well. So this is a right paradigm for us to be moved towards the looking at all the global crisis of the fertilizer, energy crisis. I think we need to design it a kind of more sustainable, knowledge intensive, our traditional farming systems into with a modern touch, and tree-based agriculture, especially that look into all the tropical Himalayas, sorry, temperate regions, and to the tropical the conditions. We have a lot many a 360 green cover approach need to be designed. And this is where we design into something like that degraded landscape turn into the very fertile, highly productive landscape. And seeing is believing. So institutions build a model for 1 acre, 2 acre, 10 acre, like that, so that farmers come and see can adopt them. And this is where the food sovereignty crisis need to be addressed. There's a threat and causes very clear. So we need to be addressed in the as urgency. A foundation for the future is very clear. We need to have native bee population be safeguarded and save habitats and the floral diversity. That is the right for the bees and societies and farmers. And we can look into the background of natural farming with a strip of the native flowers and mixed flowers what the DFR designed. So those it needs to be enriched, and also the instead of monocropping is the strip planting of the different what traditional the agriculture practice they're doing it, and this is very important. And we moved from the what you call a seasonal agriculture. We must need to move towards the what you call 360 green cover. That's what we refer to as a year-round green cover. So relay planting, intercropping, and miscropping, and trees and livestock and crop-based system together. And that's where there is some food available for the pollinators, and there's habitat restored rather than the swarming away. I see a lot of this is happening in the most of the landscape, and this is the example I'm giving in the last year. So one side is the conventional farming, and there is hardly any much beneficial insect and pollinators left there. And other side is the 360 days green cover in the month of the May, and there is a 25 to 30% beneficial insects, including the pollinators and bees. And it's not just about that. We talk about that. Everyone talk about the temperature rising, warming, and just moving towards the natural farming systems with a 365 days green cover. And the temperature difference, you can see very clearly that we've taken the same time. There's about one side is about nearly the 55 degree and the 35, 20 degree difference is there. And that is where we can easily address the climate as well as the biodiversity crisis in one go. And this is where the legal breakthrough is required. And what the Peru has done, the NATA ordinance, I think India must take it forward. And because we have a large tropical diversity of the plants and the fauna and flora, and we need to bring them to the rewilding the landscape with the economically viable, sustainable, the framework. So this is the India should take leadership in this one. I'm requesting all the experts sitting there in the big conclave, and you design into the kind of a mapping and inventory of all the existing the bees and pollinator populations, and digital pollination mapping and native habitat inventories and climate risk mapping. That is what required at different scales and different agroecologies. That links to the habitat protections and the strict pesticide regulations and the chemicals in agriculture, creation of the pollinator corridors, and integration with the national farming policies and the national farming policy, including all the road corridors. When I travel into Europe and in the US and Texas, you see the roadside is a lot of the strip planting and the roadside very high diversity of this native flower mixes they're planting. That's where the beauty of that one. That I think that our road network of nearly more than I don't know how many the million kilometers we have in India, and if you adopt these things along with the roadside, along with the native trees and floral mix, I think that is much better than what is existing now, and that must be linked to the economic incentives and ecosystem services valuations and pollinator linked crop. And we looking at only the what's called carbon in the agriculture and carbon credit, but you must link into the pollinate link the crop insurance and rewards for the floral conservations and diversity in the landscape. That links to the even like we're producing a lot of the honey. Look into that, a lot of the standards is coming very critical that when exporting to our honeys is not possible often because of that quality issues. And this is where you need to bring the traceability of the system, residue-free certifications, and bioculture heritage. That's where India has a huge opportunity to restore our landscape with a pollinator biology. So this is where we need to have moving towards the honey plus ecosystems. And I'm proposing that we should do the tourism. That's I'm sure like my good friend Apurva is there. He's doing quite a bit of work on these aspects. And I'm sure a lot of the honey, the experts and enthusiasts, training the urban landscape, urban youth, school children, and also the designing the something epitourism to the every urban landscape, and also the rural landscape they can understand. And this is where even huge opportunity for the high altitude like Ladakh. And women and entrepreneurship, what we did earlier when they introduced the flower mix and strip planting and vegetable mix into the existing cropping systems. And women and youth took very good into the entrepreneurship there. And we did the AI-based tracking of their how they're planting, what they can do it, how the practices they do it, and how where they can sell it. That really huge it in the Middle East and North Africa. And this is where the functional food should be wellness. And often we have the calorie-rich and high toxic food now. We need to move towards the what we call functional food systems, where the pollinator play the vital role. This is where high altitude honey is less explored. And look into our climate in the Ladakh and the Himalayas, and compare that in what the Europeans are doing in that landscape. I think we need to captivate that up to
Dr. Chandrasekhar, sir, please.
Capital. And this is where the legal protection
sir.
proposed to the World Honey Conclave this today. And we need to declare at the end of this 3 days event, they can come out with something, right, to the exist and maintain the genetic integrity, right, for the diverse floral habitats, right, to remain protected from the toxic chemical exposure, right, to forage and migratory. And this is where the, this time is about to end for me. And I think, so with this,
Unmute नहीं किया sir. So you can continue,
sorry,
sir, please.
Something happened.
Sir, I'm audible, sir.
Sir, that side is highly echo. I cannot hear much.
Okay, okay. Please mute me. Yes, sir.
So thank you again for this opportunity, and again the organizers and Conclave. Any questions, anything? Because of I couldn't hear that too much echo is coming from the mic there.
Thank you. Any question?
Any question?
Yes, sir.
Very good afternoon, Dr. Chandrasekhar. This is Dr. Faizan. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Chandrasekhar, sir, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, sir.
Dr. Chandrasekhar, can you hear me?
That's not working, sir. So, sir, there is no question from this sir, your side. So thank you, sir, for your highly insightful and thoughtful, provoking keynote address. Your valuable perspectives on sustainability, innovation, and ecological development have greatly enriched this session. So thank you so much, sir. So we will move towards our next speaker. So our next speaker, keynote speaker, is Dr. Hiran Gogoi from Rajiv Gandhi University, Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh. Dr. Hiran Gogoi, are you there, sir? Dr. Hiran Gogoi, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay. Dr. Hiran Gogoi is an accomplished entomologist and assistant professor in the Department of Zoology at Rajiv Gandhi University, Itanagar. His research expertise lies in insect ecology, pollinator diversity, apiculture, wild bee conservation, and sericulture, with special emphasis on the biodiversity-rich Eastern Himalayan ecosystem. Dr. Gogoi has made valuable contribution to the scientific understanding of honeybees, wild pollinators, and their ecological significance in sustaining biodiversity and agricultural productivity. His work bridges traditional ecological knowledge with modern scientific approaches to promote sustainable beekeeping, conservation, biology, and rural livelihood development. He has participated in several national and international conferences, research collaboration, and capacity building initiatives focused on pollinator conservation and sustainable natural resource management. So I invite Dr. Hiran Gogai to kindly deliver his keynote address. Over to you, Dr. Hiran Gogai, sir.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, I could see Saket Kusar sir, Abdul sir, and good afternoon to all organizing committee members and all participants. So, can I share my PPT?
Yes, sir.
Sir, is it audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. We are audible. It's audible,
Hello?
sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Yes, you are audible, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So, I think the PPT is also visible.
Uh,
Is the PPT visible?
yes, sir. You can share, sir.
Okay. So, we are working on Apis laboriosa, and it is a high altitude honeybee. Okay. So, it is found in the Himalayan region, but it is also recorded up to Vietnam, north of Vietnam, and recently from Thailand also. And it is a open nesting clipping. It is
Sir,
a
your
dry
presentation is not visible, sir.
Is it
Can you
audible, sir?
please minimize that, sir?
Is it audible?
Your presentation is not visible, sir. Audible. You are audible, but your presentation is not visible, sir.
Okay.
Just minimize the front one.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
you are audible,
Okay.
but your PPT is not visible.
Okay.
I hope it's clear. There is some issue with
Yes,
the mic.
yes.
Yeah, now it's visible.
Now it's visible,
Now it's
sir.
visible, sir. Now you can proceed.
Okay then. So we are working on honeybees mainly Apis laboriosa. It is a high altitude bee. It is a giant honeybee. It is an open nester, and we try to document forest plants mainly. And since documenting forest plant in high altitude in steep valleys is not always possible, we have integrated three approaches. We have conducted in situ studies, and we also studied melisopelinology. Okay, so just these are hymenopteran insects. So they have hemorrhage on the hind wing, and they have a geniculate antenna. The female they have sting. So these are same, and they have sewing and lapping mouth parts, and lapping for. They also have corpicula at the hind leg. So these are common with the other honeybees. And in addition to honeybees, we do have stingless bees. But unlike honeybees, they store honey in pollen pods. We have recorded 3 species of stingless bees from here, and these are honeybees. So in case of honeybees, there are 3 submarginal cells, and the second submarginal cell, that is the middle submarginal cell, it is beak of a bird. Okay, and and some honeybees have hind wings with distal abscissa of vein media, and some don't have. And Apis mellifera don't have this vein, so it don't have. So this is the Himalayan. Earlier it was called Himalayan cliff bee, and it is a giant honeybee. It is now not called Himalayan cliff bee because it is also found outside the Himalayan range, and it is also found in adjacent mountain ranges up to northern Vietnam, and also recently reported from Thailand. And this is the cliff where many colonies of Apis laboriosa are found. It is in Tanga Valley on the way to Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh. And this is a nest with comb, and this is the combless cluster. During winter season, they migrate to the lower altitude and they live as a complex cluster. And this is during the winter season. This is a comb, but this is abandoned, and they are living as a complex cluster here. And sometimes they also build nest in cliffs at window ledges. Okay, and these are some abandoned combs, and these are forager. Okay, and this is the region where the Apis liberata has the richest diversity. And in addition to Apis liberata, there are some other honeybees. Thus, I will introduce it. And this is the Apis dorsata. This is Apis dorsata swarm, and this is Apis dorsata colony at my home. And these are some subspecies of Apis dorsata. These are not found in our country. And this is the European honeybee, all of you know. And this is the Asian honeybee, Apis cerana. This is native to our region, and these are multicomb cavity nesters, and these are some of our earrings. These are Apis nigrocinta. These are not found here, and Nuluensis and Kasabnikovi. These are also not found here in our country. And we do have another 2 species of honeybees. These are small honeybees, Apis florea, and they have red markings. First 2 abdominal segments are reddish, and these are also single-combed open nester. And this is Apis endeniformis. These are also small sized, and these are found from eastern side to India, and it is also found, but it is also found in Arunachal Pradesh. And this is the distribution of honeybees, overall distribution. This is the Apis mellifera, and these are some other bees. And we have studies now, we are coming to the forest plants of Apis liberata. We have studied in some parts of Arunachal Pradesh, and we adopted 3 methods: visual monitoring, and also in situ studies, also melisopaleontology. Okay, and we have recorded what is called 36 plants from visual monitoring. So these are the plants, 36 plants from 17 families. So I'm not repeating the name for all. Okay, so these are some of the plants. So, highest number of forager was found in Prunus domestica, and here the highest time spent by one forager was found in Bistorta species here. This is. And we also tried in situ rearing, and we adopted 2 greenhouses. One is agronet greenhouse, and another is climate control greenhouse. But in the climate control greenhouse, the forager do have higher regular activities. So we have adopted climate control greenhouse for our study. So this is the activities and environmental parameters in case of climate control greenhouse, and this is for the agronet greenhouse. And so we have provided 68 forest plants, 68 plants. Out of these 68 plants, they have accepted 20. They have accepted 28 species of plants. 28 species of plants, but these species, out of these species, the Mesoepharia, these 28 species, and that belong to 17 families. And out of these, Mesoepharia here, they visited most for pollen and Indigofera species. They visited most for the nectar. And in addition to that, we have studied melisopaleontology. Okay, we have studied the forest plant from melisopaleontology, and we have identified 74 forest plants based on the pollen present in the honey. We have studied 7 honey samples, And out of these, 2 honey samples has higher rhododendron pollens, is 33% rhododendron pollen, and here it is 37% rhododendron pollen. And another, we have found one monofloral honey here. It has Heliocarpus pollens, almost 58%. So since it has more than 45% Heliocarpus pollen, so we consider it as a monofloral honey. So this is the Ericaceae family. So rhododendron, to which rhododendron belong, Ericaceae, and this is the Heliocarpaceae. Okay. And there are different types of honey, and these forest plants are important because depending on the forest plant, the quality of the honey also varies. And it is visiting the rhododendron. This level is visiting rhododendron. So we do have 2 honey samples. We said higher rhododendron pollens, and we have studied the phenolic content, flavonoid content, the Apis liberata honey, this one, which has higher rhododendron pollen, had higher phenolic content, higher flavonoid content, and higher antioxidant activity. And we have studied the chemicals found in this rhododendron honey, and we have found some flavones, flavonols, cinnamic acid, and other phenolics. And also we have found some triterpenoids, sesquiterpenes, monoterpenes, and triterpenoids, but we did not get the granatoxin. Granatoxins are reported from some of the species of rhododendron, but we did not get the granatoxin here. And we also studied the sugars. It contains some sugars similar to other honeys, and also some polyols. Polyols may also be the product of some yeast. Presence of some yeast may also yield this product. So we can use the beeswax of Apis liberata for candles or for cosmetics also, and we can use them for pollination service also, and we can use them for sustainable ecotourism, and these are some of our field photographs. And these are our team, but except the middle tree, these are our collaborators for some other projects, not for honeybee. So others are our lab members. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you, sir. The session is open for question answer. Anyone have a question? You can ask any question from the audience. So there is no question from the audience, sir. Thank you, sir, for your informative and inspiring presentation. Your valuable insight into biodiversity, conservation, pollination ecology, chemical composition of honey have added immense value to this technical session. Thank you, Gogai, sir, for the presentation. We shall now move toward the oral presentation segment of the session. So thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we will move to the oral presentation. So may I request Dr. Jarpala Monica, Central Sericulture Research and Training Institute, Pampur, Jammu and Kashmir, to kindly begin the presentation. Dr. Jarpala Monica, are you there? Technical team, please pin. Dr. Jarpala, you can share your presentation. Please unmute Dr. Jarpala. She's not joined yet, so we will move to the next presenter. Now I invite Mr. Tabish Iqbal from Jamia Hamza for the presentation. Dr. Tabish. Dr. Mohammad Tabish Iqbal, are you there? Uh, since he has not joined, Tabish Iqbal. So we will move to the next presentation. Dr. Ghazala Rizvi and Dr. Arif Wadud from Jamia Hamdard.
Hello, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, audible.
Yes, you are
Okay,
audible,
thank
ma'am. Hiran Gogoi, sir, can you stop sharing the presentation, sir?
Our PPT is visible?
Yes, 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 ma'am. You can
Okay,
continue.
thank you so much. So, myself, Dr. Ghazala Rizvi, Assistant Professor in the Department of Philosophy, Kamla Nehru College, Delhi University, and my co-author, Dr. Muhammad Arif Wadud, Assistant Professor in Hamdard Institute of Legal Studies and Research, Jamia Hamdard University, are going to present our paper titled Ethics of Apiculture and Sustainable Development in
Excuse
India.
me, ma'am. Excuse me. Your presentation.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
start from first, ma'am.
this
Okay,
is
yes.
my introduction.
Please
I mean,
maximize,
this is our
maximize the
introduction.
screen, ma'am.
So, the term apiculture has been derived from Latin word apicultura. As we know that apis means bee and cultura means cultivation through education. So, it refers to art and science of rearing honeybees. Beekeeping plays an important role for sustainable ecosystem because it does not provide us only with only sweet nectar of honey, but responsible for pollinating our crops in order to ensure food security. In this way, honeybees are essential for pollination, biodiversity, agriculture, and food security. However, modern beekeeping also raises ethical concerns regarding the welfare of bees and environmental sustainability in India. Bees, like all creatures, face challenges because they are social insects and their colony is surrounded with several bees that cooperate in nest building, food collection, and brood rearing. There are disease and enemies that also affect honeybee colonies. Now, the question arises here that what is the ethical duty towards beekeeping? What is a moral dilemma in beekeeping process? And how does humans and bees share a mutual beneficial relationship? And what is the ethical beekeeping? Why ethical beekeeping is important, and how do we balance our needs with the welfare of the bees? So, in order to address these questions, I have argued in my paper. We have argued in our paper that we need to explore the historical dimension of beekeeping and ethical, and what are the ethical challenges are coming in regarding apiculture, so that human practice do not harm these vital creatures. So, it is in this sense the paper begins by outlining the historical dimension of beekeeping and ethical issues of apiculture, and how sustainable beekeeping can contribute to sustainable development in India. The paper sets the foundation for understanding why a shift in approach that incorporates the interpretation of ethical beekeeping is the need of an hour, because it does not focus on just producing honey, but fostering a healthy relationship with bees and ensuring that their well-being is prioritized. Therefore, the paper offers an insight into how beekeeping or apiculture is not only about producing honey, but beekeepers ought to practice in a way that is ethical and sustainable while prioritizing long-term hive health on the basis of avoiding pesticides, preservation of natural queen cycle for the benefit of the future of the earth. The second, in the first part of our paper is about historical dimension of apiculture in India. So as we know that the beekeeping has been an integral part of human history for millennia, and it has a long and cultural historical tradition in India. Several references of bees and honey have been made in the oldest scriptures of India, such as Rig Veda, Mahabharata, Ramayana, the Quran, and many other ancient books. These references shows that human and bees have shared a close relationship since ancient times, since our ancestors respected nature and understood the importance of maintaining harmony with other living beings. In our country, the first attempt to keep honeybees in movable frame hive was made in early 1880s in pre-partition Bengal and Punjab. But commercial beekeeping in India started in 1910 in South when Reverend Newton devised a movable frame hive suitable for Asiatic hive bee that is called as Apis crana, which is known as Newton hive. And this is still popular for keeping the indigenous hive bee in South India. And further, the Royal Commission on Agriculture in 1928 recommended development of beekeeping as a cottage industry in India, and then All India Beekeepers Association was established in 1938-39. After independence, Khadi and Village Industries Commission, Government of India took up beekeeping in order to promote research in apiculture. That is KVIC, established Central Bee Research and Training Institute at Pune, 1962. However, the current beekeeping situation in country is not very encouraging. For example, India is at number 7 in the world, whereas China is producing about 40% of total world honey production and is at the top of in honey production in the world, followed by USA, Argentina, and Turkey. So within India, Punjab is leading in honey production, and at present, Punjab with only 1.5% of India's geographical area is contributing more than 25% of the nation apiary honey. Ludhiana has The next slide is about scope of beekeeping in India, where in this we have discussed about beekeeping, beekeeping as which provides nutritional, economic, and ecological balance while providing employment and income. So India has a good potential for beekeeping and to become a major honey exporting nation. So since it is a forest-based industry and does not require any additional space, which provides income to rural and tribal families, so the sustainability of this industry is very vital to the country's economic and ecological development. Economically, it provides products such as honey, beeswax, royal jelly, and many rural families in India depend on apiculture as a source of income. Bees contribute greatly to food production, and agriculture crops depend on pollination for better yield and quality. Ecologically, bees plays a major role in pollination, which helps plants to produce and increase agricultural productivity. They transfer pollen from one flower to another, helping plants grow fruits and seeds. This process supports biodiversity and maintain ecological balance. So beekeeping has been carried out across many generations in India, and it played an important role, as I've already said, because in the following ways. For example, beekeeping is an income generating activity. It provides food and medicine value for honey and other high products are invaluable, and it supports agricultural activities through cross pollination and increased yield of crops. It also contributes immensely to forest conservation and provides supplementary income to families, and particularly in tribal communities. Hence, bees are not just producers of honey, they are protectors of ecosystem and support of human survival. And decline in bee population can affect agriculture, biodiversity, and food security on larger scale. The next slide is about what are the ethical issues concerning beekeeping. Here, since since we have already, explained that how beekeeping becomes a commercialization, and because of that, the ethical issues are emerging. So the population of honeybees and other species has declined considerably, which has serious impact on cultivation of many commercial crops and has also threatened to existence of terrestrial ecosystem, raises ethical concerns regarding the environmental impact, and that cannot be ignored. For example, historically, beekeeping was primarily localized, and beekeepers followed practices that were in harmony with nature and their communities. However, the push for mass mass production and profit has led to the industrialization of beekeeping, where large scale operations prioritize honey production and pollination service over the welfare of the bees and their natural habitats. Due to commercialization of beekeeping, the beekeepers are creating artificial environment to facilitate their profits. In this way, the first ethical issue is the overexploitation of bee colonies for commercial honey production, and excessive honey extraction may weaken colonies and reduce bee natural food supply. Second, ethical issues arises is that the use of harmful pesticides and chemicals which can damage bees and their environment. For example, modern commercial practices sometimes manipulate queen bees artificially and ignore the natural behavior of colonies. Now, one of the important questions arise here, that how can human benefit from the bees without harming them, and how far the actions of beekeepers affect the environment? How can recognize ethical beekeeping? Therefore, in order to address this question, I have, this slides, we have argued that in this slide that the ethical beekeeping is the need of an hour, because ethics provides a set of moral principles that governs our behavior in order to respect bees as a living creatures and not treating them as a tools for profit. The next slide of our presentation is about ethical beekeeping. Here, we have argued that bees plays an important role for maintaining ecological balance in global food production. That's why ethical beekeeping becomes not just as a relevant but as a necessary initiative. So ethical beekeeping prioritizes the well-being of bees over commercial gain and recognizes bees are not merely as honey producers but as a sentient contributors to biodiversity. Therefore, bees matters because without bees, the pollination of fruits, vegetables, and nuts would decline drastically. In fact, ethical beekeeping acts as a solution that safeguards bees, diversity, and ultimately food security on the basis of the following principles. First is about ethical beekeepers avoid unnecessary interference with the hive. They let bees build natural comb and allow them to swarm, a process essential for colony reproduction. Second is humane hive management. So instead of using chemical treatments for pest disease, ethical beekeepers offer natural remedies and hive hygiene. They monitor health proactively rather than reactively. Third is about seasonal and minimal harvesting. In this, we have argued that honey is harvested only after the bees' needs have been met. The focus remains on balance, not profit. The last one is about protection of wild bee habitats. In addition, in this, we have argued that in maintaining hives, ethical beekeepers often advocate for wild bee conservation. They plant pollinator-friendly gardens and work to reduce pesticides used in their communities. It is in this sense we have argued that ethical beekeeping creates a mutually beneficial relationship between human and bees, because planting flowering plants, protecting forests, and maintaining biodiversity are also essential for sustainable agriculture. Now, I request my co-author to proceed further discussion. Over to you, Dr. Muhammad Arifatul.
Thank you, Dr. Ghazala Rizvi. Am I audible? Thank you, Dr. Ghazala Rizvi. Now I am proceeding further with our presentation. Before going further, I would like to mention that India is the signatory of United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, which provide us that within till that 2030 we need to achieve 17 goals and 169 targets. I would like to connect how apiculture can help us to achieve this sustainable development goal. In this part, we try to discuss that apiculture contributes significantly to sustainable development in India through proper breeding and care of social bees. By prioritizing the welfare of bees, we can create the sustainable development which benefits the environment, our health, and future generations. Sustainable development in the beekeeping sector in India requires partnership among many stakeholders at local, national, regional, and international level, which help to support these sustainable development goals in the following manner. The goal first of sustainable development, that is low poverty. Beekeeping offers unique options to fight poverty by creating employment opportunities. Goal second, that is zero hunger. Beekeeping provides us valuable for sustainable agriculture production. Goal third, that is good health and well-being. Beekeeping
Dr. Arif,
improves
try to compile
livelihood
it with,
and bring high-value nutrition, health promoting products. Goal fifth, that is gender equality. Beekeeping offers an opportunity to women to establish an income generating activity. Goal seven, that is of affordable and clean energy. Beekeeping not generate pollution, making it sustainable over time. Goal 8 of Sustainable Development Goal is that is a decent and economic growth. Beekeeping generates jobs in the form of micro businesses as well as large companies. Goal 9, that is industry innovation and infrastructure. Beekeeping promotes economic growth through innovative thinking. Goal 10, that is reduce inequality. Beekeeping offers opportunities for even the most poor, remote, and disempowered people to produce honey and bee wax. Goal 4, that is responsible consumption and production. Beekeeping promotes local production and consumption and combating adulteration. Goal 13, that is climate action. Beekeeping promotes sustainable production patterns and planting of forests with great diversity of species. Goal 16, that is peace, justice, and strong institutions. Beekeeping can establishing context
Dr. Arif, we are running out of time. Please
scientists
compile.
and international organization to ensure valuable source of income. Goal 17, that is partnership for sustainable development. Beekeeping engage in global partnership with national and international organizations to achieve a sustainable development for the benefit of its members from all over the world. Thus, sustainable apiculture is an important step towards a greener and healthier future worldwide in India. To conclude, I would like to say that apiculture is a very useful occupation, especially in rural areas of India. India is seventh position in world for honey production, and the major market for India honey are Germany, US, UK, Japan, etc. It generates employment and provide income to community of rural area, which alleviate poverty in the long run. Hence, beekeeping is most commonly connected with honey production, which is renewable and sustainable source of nutrition. Producing honey helps with food security in India because bees are essential for human life, agriculture, and ecological balance. That is why ethical apiculture is the need of an hour, because it teaches us that development should not come at the cost of nature. Hence, sustainable beekeeping practice protect bee population while also supporting human needs. To achieve sustainable development of apiculture, bee flora flowers should be increased, and care for honey bees is very essential to protect biodiversity.
Dr. Arif, please wrap up.
And
As we are
promote
running short of
sustainable
time,
development.
please.
In this way, ethical beekeeping helps us to protect bees, which would automatically protect humanity and future of our planet. I would like to end our discussion with the word of Albert Einstein. I quote, "If the bees disappear off the surface of the globe, then man would have only 4 years of life left. No more bees, no more pollination, no more plants, no more animals, no more man." Thank you, Honey Conclave, to provide us opportunity to present our thoughts. Lots of thanks.
Thank you. So, any question from the audience?
Over to you, sir.
So, as we are running out of time, so I would thank you, Mr. Dr. Ghazala Rizvi and Dr. Arif Wadud for your presentation. Now we will move to the next presenter. That's Miss Alekhya Gorla from Acharya NG Agriculture University, Andhra Pradesh. Miss Alekhya Gorla, are you there? And I request Dr. Arif to stop the presentation, sharing the presentation. Dr. Ghazala?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am. Hello, sir.
Alakhya
I am
Gorla?
there. I'm there.
Okay. You can continue.
Yes, sir. So can I present?
Yes, you're audible. You can share your presentation.
So can you see my presentation?
Yes, your presentation is visible.
Sir, is it in the slideshow mode?
No, it's not in the slideshow mode. You can start.
Is it now, sir?
No, it is not still in the same.
So good afternoon, everybody. So good afternoon, respected everybody. Good afternoon, respected fellow participants. So I am Alakhya, working as young professional one
Alakhya Gorla.
in ARS, which I grip on honeybees and pollinators. So we have. I'm here now to present with behalf of Dr. K. Mohanrao, Principal Scientist and Head, Agriculture Research Station, Vijay, Agrip on honeybees and pollinators. So our study is on the comparative physicochemical and mineral composition analysis of Apis mellifera, Apis cerana, Tetragonella pagani honey samples. So honey, as we all know, honey is a natural, nutritive and therapeutic substance which is produced by bees from floral nectar. So the composition of the honey depends on the floral sources and also as well as on the environmental conditions. The Codex Alimentarius Commission in the year 1981 gave a definition for honey as the natural sweet substance produced by honeybees from the nectar of plants or from secretions of living plants of living parts of plants or excretions of plant-sucking insects on the living parts of plants, which the bees collect, transform by combining with specific substances of their own, deposit, dehydrate, store, and leave in the colony in the honeycomb to ripen and mature. This is a revised definition given by Codex Alimentarius Commission in the year 2001. So in India, 3 domesticated honeybee species are present. That is Apis mellifera, European honeybee, otherwise Italian bee, and Apis cerana, Asian honeybee, and Tetragonella pagani, which is a stigless bee. So honey mainly consists of sugars as well as water and some amino acids, enzymes, vitamins, minerals, and polyphenolic compounds, flavonoids, phenols. So all these contribute to the biological activity. So the goal of our study is to determine determine the bioactive compounds and their ratios and their quantities in different bee species, as they determine the honey's physicochemical and nutritional properties. So we have collected samples of Apis mellifera and Apis and Tetragonella pagani in our apiary, which is located in Vijay, Andhra Pradesh, and we have collected the Apis cerana honey sample from Regional Agricultural Research Station, ASR Manyam district of Andhra Pradesh. And we have sent the samples to Food Safety Referral Laboratory, ICR, which is located at IIHR Bangalore. So the parameters were analyzed according to the Food Safety Standard Authority of India standard operating procedures. All the tests regarding the honey adulteration and the quality were estimated using the FSSAI SOP codes, and the mineral profiling of the honeys away all the honey samples like the mellifera, serena, and Tetragonella pectani were done at the honey and other beehive products testing laboratory ICI KVK, which is located at Hirehalli, Tumakuru, which is also located in Karnataka. You can see the methodology. So the physicochemical and biochemical properties of honey samples, like the specific gravity, moisture. So all these parameters were evaluated by the method Indian standards for 49, 41 is to 1994. So this Indian standard method is used for specifying the extracted honey samples. So they determine the purity, quality, and the grading of the honey. And for the HMF test, C4 sugar and carbon isotope analysis was also done using this elemental analyzer, liquid chromatography, isotope ratio mass spectrometry. So these are the results of different bee species. If you can see so the honey samples were compared with FSSI limits. So the total reducing sugars were generally they are high in fructose and glucose ratios. They are high in Apis mellifera and Apis cerana, if you can see in the table. Whereas Tetragonella pectani has low amount of total reducing sugars, which is a general characteristic of the stingless bee honey. And coming to the pollen content is within the rate within the FSSI limit of Apis mellifera and Apis cerana honeys, whereas Tetragonella pectani honey recorded higher pollen content, which might be due to their resin collecting properties, and the electrical conductivity is also comparatively higher in the stingless bee honey, which might be due to the higher organic acid content in the bees, and the percentage of sugar in all the honeybee samples is within the limits, that is less than 5%. And the acidity, which is expressed as formic acid, it is also it is comparatively more in the mellifera and the cerana honeys. And when coming to the fructose glucose ratios, all were within the limits of FSSI. And HMF content, they were also within the limits, so which indicates these HMF values indicate that the honey was not stored for much time and the honey was not preheated prior to the sampling. And C4 sugar, foreign oligosaccharides, delta 13 carbon max and fructose glucose ratio, these are, and protein honey ratios, these are carbon isotope ratio analysis revealed. So according to the values of in the part, so which indicate that the honey was not adulterated and it was collected naturally. So from the results we know that higher moisture content was recorded in the stingless bee honey, and in contrast mellifera and cerana have this higher reducing sugars and lower moisture, which indicate that the absence of which indicate the better storage properties, whereas the higher moisture content in the stingless bee honey indicate that it might be due to the cerumen pods, the open and the closed cerumen pods. So there was no proper dehydration of the honey in the samples of stingless bee. Hence, the moisture content was higher in the stingless bee honey, and the HMF content, which is an indicator of freshness, or it is same in all the samples. They were low in all the samples, which confirm the freshness. And
Ms. Arakia, try to compile the
oligosaccharides, they
presentation
determine
as we are running
if
short of
any
time.
addition of sugar. So there are no foreign oligosaccharides detected from the samples. So this mineral, coming to the mineral profiling, which is done at the beehive products testing laboratory, ICI KVK Hirehalli. So from the table we know that the magnesium, the iron content was a predominant mineral in all the honey samples, and manganese, zinc, and copper were comparatively higher in the Apis cerana honey sample, which might be attributed due to their diverse foraging activity, and this Epicurana honey was collected in an area which is rich in bee floral diversity. And since honey can also act as a bioindicator, so if you can see in the table, so copper, heavy metals like copper, lead, nickel, and zinc. So these values
Slide is not
indicate
moving.
so environmental contamination in minute quantities, which
Alakia,
means
your
that
slide is not moving.
so the region where the crops are being
Hello,
grown,
Alakia, the slide is not moving.
these samples.
Your slide is not moving. We are on slide
Sir?
number 7.
So iron was the predominant trace element. So
And
Epicurana
conclude
honey exhibited high
the
levels.
presentation, please.
Calcium and magnesium was not detected. It was consistent in all. And the trace elements were detected. So they acted as this bioindicators of environmental contamination. So this is a graph representing various parameters. So hence, in conclusion, we can say that so the composition varied among different honey samples, and the stable carbon isotope analysis confirmed the absence of post-harvest sugar adulteration. Though in mellifera it was high due to, it might be due to indirect C4 sugar feeding. They might have foraged on the plants or C4 plants. So mineral analysis also revealed that iron as a dominant trace element, and when compared with other species, Epicurana honey has higher minerals when compared with others. So the study highlights the importance of these specific standards and the variations among the different honeybee samples. So thank you. So I have 2 more presentations. Can I present?
No, we are running short of time, so that's why. Sorry, thank you. So, any questions from the audience?
Okay, sir.
There is one question.
Yes.
From sir. Hello.
Hello, Dr. Akhya, whatever research you have done, presentation is most important. Your slides were not readable. So whenever you prepare presentation, that should be properly prepared.
Thank you, sir. So let's move towards the next presentation. I invite Ms. Shishti Kumari from Chaudhary Charan Singh Haryana Agriculture University for her final oral presentation of this technical session. Ms. Shishti Kumari. Alakya, you can stop sharing your presentation. Shishti, please share your presentation.
सारे टेक्निकल टीम सारे प्रेजेंटेशन वाले बोल रहे हैं इको कर रहा है, आपको सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है? इको कर रहा है, सारे लोगों का एक साथ प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा, प्रॉब्लम
Hello.
Yes, continue. Yes, continue. Your slide is visible.
Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Srishti Sharkar, currently pursuing my MSc degree from CCSHU Research. Today, I'll be presenting my research work, which is basically on Speciformis wasp under the theme biodiversity conservation and pollinator ecology. So, so first of all, here's a brief introduction. The Speciformis wasp are a solitary hunting wasp which comprise more than 10,000 tested species. And there are 4 families which come under Speciformis wasps, which are Spaceti, Carbonity, Ampelicidia, and Heterogynety. And here are some ecosystem services provided by them. They act as biocontrol agent. They play important role in pollination as bioindicators, etc. Now,
So here are the record of some Spiciformis wasps visiting different flower families which they pollinate. Now there may be obligate relationship or facultative relationship. The obligate relationship means that these plants rely solely on these affiliate wasps for pollination, whereas putative facultative relationship means the plants are opportunistically pollinated by these wasps. That means these wasps will visit these flowers for collection of nectars or honeydews, and the pollen will stick with their body and they will pollinate the flowers accidentally. So here is some families of flowers with which they maintain relationship. I will not go through every individual. So basically, these wasps visit the flowers and extraflower nectaries for collection of honeydew and pollen, etc. Short-term wasps, such as belonging to family Spicidae, they basically visit Umbelliferaceae, Euphorbiaceae flowers, and because these flowers have shallow corollas, whereas the wasps which have elongated mouthparts, such as Bembex from Crabroniti and Ammophila from Spicidae, they will exploit great variety of flowers because they have elongated mouthparts. And generally, longest mouthpart is seen in the subgenus Steniola, and they belong to the family Crabroniti, and they mainly exploit the family Compositae, but other 23 families they also exploit with them. Here are some research gaps why I selected this topic for research. So basically, Spiciformis wasps play a very important role in pollination, but their role as pollinators and their ecosystems whereby they are understudied. Bees are very much studied for pollination purposes, but their work is not that much studied, but they are important. And there is not much information available for their taxonomic study, what are their behaviors, what are the crops they pollinate, like that. So for this purpose, I selected this research topic. And currently I am researching in Haryana. So in Haryana, there is, like in North India, there is not much work done on this. So in Haryana, there is unique climatic condition, temperature, and soil. Everything is somewhat different from other areas. So that's why I selected this topic for my research. So the objective was basically first survey and collection of Spiciformis wasps from different locations, and then preparation of diagnostic keys and checklists after identifying them based on morphological characters. The research was conducted 25-26, and the methodology, I basically collected the wasp by setting yellow pan traps in different locations, and they were maintained for 24 hours. And they trapped the wasp, then these wasps were extracted and collected in alcohol tubes, brought to laboratory for identification. I have selected all these locations for study purpose. They have like wide floral diversity and other fauna diversity as well. So I thought this will be the good location for collection of these wasps. Now these are the different locations where like yellow pan traps are installed. As you can see the yellow balls, different flowers you can see beside which I installed the traps. Some more areas where I installed. This is me collecting those wasps from the traps and also collecting them via sweep net. And this is me like identifying these wasps via Leica stereozoom microscope using different literatures and like preservation of specimen in insect box. And here is a checklist of wasps which was collected during my research work. I basically got wasps from families. There are families, but heterogyny is not much diverse. There is only like 9. So I collected from Ampullicidae, Spicidae, and Crabroniti family I got, and all these genuses, genera I collected. Total 20 genera I got during my research work. And 26 Spiciformis wasp species belonging to 20 genera was recorded from different locations. As you can see, these are the pictures taken by me only, Leica stereozoom microscope, different genuses. So there are some more genuses. I will continue. So the 26 total family, and they come under 20 genera, which I have recorded. And now the results, basically I have maximum number of wasps was collected during April, May, September, October, November of 2025, and March, April, May of 2026. And total 26 Spiciformis wasps belonging to 20 genera are collected during this study. So basically what I saw is this like studying the pollinator relationship with the plants was not under my study, but as I observed that where there was more number of flowers and more number of floral diversity, there are more number of wasps. And like different from different literature I studied, I got the information that they play important role in pollination because of the food of the adult wasp they collect. And for orchids also, they are like obligatory pollinator, and for other plants like carrot and others, they are facultative pollinator. They will visit and accidentally they will pollinate the flower. They play a very important role apart from bees as well. So, medicinal aromatic plant garden, botanical garden, entomology, farm area, all these areas, they had higher floral diversity and the higher wasp diversity. So, like future research is obviously needed to like know the detailed relationship with the flowers and the wasp, like which flower is getting pollinated by which wasp, and future research can be done on this purpose in Haryana condition, particularly in North Indian condition, because more research is done in South Indian condition, but from North India, not that much research has been done. And I have identified these wasps up to species level, but here I have kept the genera only as I have not published it yet. So yeah, that will be all from my side. Thank you. Is there any question or anything?
Thank you. Any question from the audience? Yes.
Okay,
There is one
stop
question.
this. Thank you.
You have made a very good study, very good presentation. I want to know how they act as pollinators.
Shristi?
Srishti,
Shristi, do you heard the question?
can you hear how they act as pollinators?
Shristi, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Actually, too much echoing is happening in the background.
How they act as pollinators?
Is there any question?
Sir is asking that how they act as a pollinator.
Sir, can you please type in the message? Like, I cannot hear anything. So much echo is coming.
Sir is asking that how these wasps are acting as a pollinator. How these wasps are acting as a pollinator.
Like, can you type in the message chat box, if it is possible?
टेक्निकल टीम को वार्निंग दे रहा हूं। सभी को बोलिए। टाइप करो, चेक बॉक्स में टाइप करो।
Okay, how do they act as pollinator? That's a good question. Actually, I have not added that much detail in here, but when they visit the flowers, they go to collect for nectars and honeydews, other things. They will visit flowers, and then the pollens will get added to their body. They do not have like any what do you say? They do not have any specialized parts like bees, but their frequent visit to the flowers, as they visit frequently, make them a good pollinator. As the researchers have cited in different literatures, like their frequent visitation make them good pollinators. They do not have modified parts, but yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your excellent presentation and contribution to the discussion. Thank you, Shristi. Now, before we conclude, I would now respectfully invite our esteemed chairperson, Professor Saket Kushwaha, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh, to kindly deliver the concluding remarks and closing observation for this session. Sir.
सबसे इको हो रहा है।
Sorry, it's not
वो ये बता रहे हैं कि वहाँ प्रॉब्लम होगी। प्रॉब्लम यहाँ मुझे मालूम है ना। Similar problem cannot happen with everyone. Okay, my greetings to all of you. Obvious.
Hello, it's not audible.
It's not audible. Okay. तो इतनी छोटी सी बात थी, मैं बार बार बोल रहा था. The problem which I can see from there, you cannot see from here. Anyways, चलिए. Yeah, that is over, madam. Thank you very much, Srishti. Thank you very much for this vibrant presentation. Let me thanks to all the presenters here. And then, in conclusion, what I would like to say, I mean, there could be some futuristic research apart from these research what they have presented. In few cases, tables were very small, but those are the fundamental. These are not the fundamental problems. But what I want to tell my colleagues here, we can also take up few other research, like when we have different species, kind of honeybee, whether their comb structure is of the same type and which type of messes they are taking. Honeycomb is not the only wax. They have some messes. And then from my side also, I would like to tell you, some of you must do little research on biomimicry. We are using like honeycomb structure, even in computer style. When we are saying that, that fuzzy logic we are using in color selection in computer, you can see the structure is like honeycomb. So what is the basic message coming out of this honeycomb, and how this wax, for example, if crops are deficient, naturally the flower will be also deficient in many ways. And what is the role of terminal heat? Terminal heat is very important factor for agronomist during when it is in the case of wheat farming. Whenever there's a 1 degree change in the temperature, ideal definition we have that every hectare will compromise 1 quintal of wheat. 1 degree rise will compromise 1 quintal of wheat per hectare. I mean, this is the thumb rule for agronomist. So what I'm trying to tell you through this message is that whenever this terminal heat or weather change is taking place, I think Dr. Saab was very clear that because of the change in weather, because of change in the atmospheric quality, the pollinator, that means when honeybee, they don't find the suitable crop. And even crop is there, then flowering will be delayed. Like whenever you make a journey from here to Kargil this time, you will be seeing the flowering in many of the plant. I mean, 15 days difference was there. And when honeybee is going to participate in pollination, then where is the flower? So I think there's need for us to understand the dynamics of whole ecosystem, and there's a need for us to embark on such kind of basic research so that we can also see or maybe identify the cause of declining population of the honeybee because of these global warming factors. So, but then all the same, I liked all the presentation wherever I was present here. For some time I was out of this hall, so I would not be able to know what is happening. With these words, I conclude and advise all of you to pay little attention towards the other issues also. When message is not passed clearly to the people, to the audience, then the whole purpose of seminar and workshop is forfeited. So I think we will also take note of this kind of thing. Hiren was too good because you remember Hiren Gogoi, I have worked with him, he's my colleague in Rajiv Gandhi University. So we spent about 3-4 years doing some research on honeybee in the hill area. And let me tell you one more issue which is striking in my mind. The shape of the honeybee comb, I mean the comb. So do you think they vary from species to species? So if this is the case, I think that there's a need for us to take note of it. And then how the quantity in the comb is stored. So these kind of some parameters which might not seem very important now, they must also be considered for our research. So with these words, I wish to say thank you very much to all the presenters and audience here. Thank you.
So, I I sincerely thank all keynote speakers, presenters, participants, reporters, and organizing members for their valuable contribution and active participation. And we sincerely apologize for the technical glitch, and we took kind note of the mistake and will ensure better management in the future, sir. So, so this with this and this technical session, online technical session first is concluded. So I request all the participants to move towards the dining hall for the lunch.
We can have another experiment also. If in the audience,
Yes.
some of the scientists wish to say something,
Yes.
maybe 2 minutes they can take each of them.
So anyone from the audience, you can come here and express your views.
Sir, with the permission, sir? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Actually, in this session, I think, sir, two findings are very important. First thing is the nutrient analysis we should take up immediately regarding polyphenols and some biomolecules which are very healthy for human life, and regarding high altitude honey. So this matter we have to take up. And another thing is, sir, what I have seen is this transportation. So we are one plan is there for housing in Ladakh itself. That has to be taken up, and it is not necessary that that design is okay, but we can modify. We have a trial, and it will be very helpful in especially in villages. Under this scheme, sir, we can expand this honey to the villages, in remote villages also. The only constant here to spread this honey in remote villages, especially in buckwheat areas like Turtuk, like many, Sham belt, everywhere, Dahanu belt, we can have a very good production of buckwheat honey, but only problem is this migration. So if we can adopt such migration, technology with this housing facilities, then I think future there will be a boon in honey production in Ladakh.
You know, Firoza, you have seen Iran Gogoi's presentation where he has identified 64 or so flower species.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
we can also have that kind of exercise.
exactly, sir. Yes, sir.
That which kind of flower can be grown in our greenhouse during that harsh condition.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is one, and then we can also supply the sugar syrup as well.
Yes, sir.
To sustain the life.
Yeah.
Form. So
Yes,
this is
sir.
one we can do. And other thing, someone must take little study. Whenever we say that honey bees are contributing to the pollination, how wind current is contributing
Yes,
to the
sir.
pollination.
Yes, sir.
Humidity. what
Yes,
is the
sir.
role of
Yes, sir. Exactly. Relative humidity. Yes, sir.
Then other like honeybee or
Yes, sir.
flies or whatever.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let us have some idea.
Yes, sir. Why I'm telling this is we have a small project on honeybee, sir, and our it will be coming in June. Our own University of Ladakh project, and we have extraction also. So under that project, we can adjust this and we can do these studies. That's what I'm telling.
Anyone
Thank you.
else?
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the audience? Dr. Zaid.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I would like to add some points to this. Like we know that this apiculture, it is in a very nascent stage in this part of the region, right? So first focus should be on this encouraging and motivating the farmers to engage in this thing. And for that, like by conducting training programs, and also one important thing is by pitching your talks in convincing the policymakers in facilitating and in adding some subsidy components to this sector. No, no, no. Like for sir, yes, transportation and all this. Otherwise, it would be right.
It should not be the taken for granted kind of thing.
Yes.
थोड़ा आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा।
Okay.
वो देख लीजिए वो बीच चला जाएगा लेकिन सब्सिडी के बल पे ही आगे बढ़ेगा ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है।
But for the transportation purpose, it can be added, sir, because the season is very short here. जी जी जी, yes.
तो पहली बात तो अपने एटीट्यूड में चेंज लाने की कोशिश करनी है। ठीक है, हर चीज सब्सिडी के बेसिस पे काम नहीं चलेगा।
Right.
देश का ठीक है, टैक्स पर बड़ी मुश्किल से टैक्स पे करता है तो हमें टैक्स का जुडिशियल यूज करना है, राइट?
Yes, yes, sir.
Sir, I just want to add some point.
Yes, yes.
You are from
And
from which department you are?
from Agriculture College, Kargil, sir. School of Agriculture Science and Technology, Kargil. I'm an entomologist, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Yes, and some points they raise, sir, like yesterday I presented that we can send our sample for the physico-chemical test, right? The reason was, see, the yield and the quantity is very less at this point of time. No, first we have to work on promoting this, and when we are in a position where the quantity and the material, this honey production is too high, where we have to export it, then we can go for this sophisticated tests like NMR test and all this. Yes. For now, we have to bring this
actually, sir,
our yield in a position that we are self-sufficient. Oh, okay.
Sir, I just want to add one point. What he's asking is to train farmers. Farmers are, because we are KVK, we are dealing with farmers, sir, 24 hours. So farmers are very reluctant to take it, but we have to first solve the problem of migration.
Yes.
So farmer cannot afford these bees to move in the lower bed like Jammu and Rajasthan. So first we have to solve this. When all these things are maintained and we have done a very proven, technology developed at our station, then only we can take it to the farmers. That is the policy, sir.
Yes, sir. Points noted. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. You want to say something? Yes, sir. सर आप बोलिए 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 आप सामने आ जाइए यहाँ आइए
ऐसा है यहाँ लद्दाख में सर्च तो अभी बिगनिंग में वी हैव टू डू सम बेसिक रिसर्च बेसिक रिसर्च की जरूरत है नंबर 1 identification of floral resources making a calendar of it throughout the year what floral resources are available. Then identifying the plants which can survive under these harsh conditions, so that with the social forestry you can go for plantation. That will help to improve the ecosystem and sustainability as well as provide the flora. Then to have to work this management of honeybee colonies. What are their requirements? What are their problems? Then you have to work migration schedules. When they need to be migrated. If not migrated, what can be done under stationary beekeeping conditions? As one of the students has presented a model that they can maintain stationary beekeeping. You have to work on these aspects. Then you have also to identify the role of bees in the pollination. This can be as a demonstration plots. In some fields, you can provide colonies, and in other areas, you can enclose the plants with the nylon nettings or muslin just to compare the yield benefits from this honeybee. Once you will do it, the farmers will be happy to know what they are contributing. So you have to concentrate on basic research. Then, as the practice was, shifting colonies to Rajasthan or other place. If you have MOU with Kashmir or Jammu, you can shift colony there. There would be number 1 benefit, migration cost will be reduced. Number 2, because scientists are working there, you will get technical know-how. If there is any problem with the beekeeping, you can get technical know-how. Furthermore, because their scientists are already maintaining their colonies, they can help you to maintain your colony. So you can do research with these universities. Thank you.
ओके, तो कौन बताएगा सोशल फॉरेस्ट्री का कितना एरिया अंडर सोशल फॉरेस्ट्री है? कोई बताएगा यहाँ पे लद्दाख में सोशल फॉरेस्ट्री का कॉन्सेप्ट है कि नहीं है? नहीं है, नहीं है ना। हमारे पास अगर वो सियाचिन एरिया में वो जो शिया फ्लावर्स होते हैं उसको अगर कंसीडर करो तो वो एक नेचुरल सोशल फॉरेस्ट्री का कंपोनेंट बनता है। अदरवाइज हमारे यहाँ सर सोशल फॉरेस्ट्री होती ही नहीं है। तो वो कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट में हमको देखना पड़ेगा कि क्या कर सकते हैं। जैसे हमारे यहाँ उधर की तरफ बहुत सारी सोशल फॉरेस्ट्री होती है, तो यहाँ वैसा कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है। तो वो बाकी कंपोनेंट ये लोग ले लेंगे कि हमें क्या करना है। राइट, कंक्लूड करते हैं। आप लोगों को एक काम कर सकते हो कि एक डिस्कशन हो जाना चाहिए था, ओपन डिस्कशन है ना, उसमें ये सारी बातें आ जाएंगी। थैंक यू, उसको कंक्लूड कर लो। बाय।
Thank you everyone. So this session is concluded here. So I request everyone to proceed towards the dining hall for the lunch, and I also request to everyone to assemble at 2 p.m. for the next technical session. Thank you.
आप लोग अभी अपने गेस्ट का स्वागत करने वो देर आए दुरुस्त आए। और हमारे हम लोग यहाँ बता दें।
So I request Honorable Vice Chancellor to yes. So I welcome Dr. Nasir Iqbal, Registrar, Kashmir University, in this World Honey Conclave 2026. So I request Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Saket Kushwaha to felicitate our guest with a Khatak Zane memento as a token of love and appreciation.
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
वैसे रजिस्ट्रार साहब फिजिक्स के एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स है, तो ये ट्यूजडे में इनको यूज करेंगे। अपनी अगर 10-20 दिन देना चाहे आज ये वर्ड कैन आई जस्ट यूज 2 मिनट्स?
Yes, sir.
हम आपको 3 मिनट देते हैं।
So, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh, other esteemed guests here, scholars, students, officers, good afternoon. Let me introduce myself. I am Professor Nasir Iqbal, basically an astrophysicist, a professor of physics from the University of Kashmir, but presently discharging my duties as the registrar of the University of Kashmir. I am very thankful to the Honorable Vice Chancellor for allowing us to be here and be a part of this great event. Although we have come with a request to meet the Professor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, for a short meeting that may take place in the afternoon. But just I want to inform our Honorable Vice Chancellor that since I am an astrophysicist, so usually in addition to my administrative duties, I always conduct the conference and the workshops in the field of astronomy and astrophysics, for which I get a support from one of a very leading institute of the country, that is Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, Pune, because I am a visiting scientist of IUCAA Pune for the last many years. So this year I had submitted earlier a proposal to the IUCAA Pune that I want to hold the workshop for Ladakh University in Ladakh region for the students of Ladakh. Only for the students of Ladakh, not for others, because the preference is for the Ladakh students. So I had that workshop stands approved. So I am planning with the permission of the Honorable Vice Chancellor, I will hold a meeting with him and also with other officers that most possibly sometime in coming July or August, we will hold 2 to 3 days workshop for the students of different colleges affiliated with the Ladakh University, where we will we will show a way forward to the students of the Ladakh, how they can choose the subject of astronomy and astrophysics and make their career ahead in the field, because ISRO and other agencies are there where they hire these professionals with a strong background of this astronomy. In that workshop, I have already invited some good scientists from all over the country who will have very good lectures, and that will be, in fact, that will be part of the astrotourism what for this event is going on. So, Honorable Vice Chancellor, thank you very much. This I just wanted to convey a message. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Nasir Iqbal, sir, Registrar University of Kashmir. And now I request everyone to please proceed towards the dining hall for lunch. And after lunch, please assemble here in this hall at 2 p.m. sharply. Thank you. Thank you so much.